NBC Sports and the United States Golf Association present a USGA National Championship. Today, it's the final round of the 56th U.S. Women's Open. Championship Sunday in the Sandhills of North Carolina, where the brilliant blue Carolina sky just adds to the unique beauty, feel, and history of this world-famous Pinehurst area. This is the Pine Needles Lodge and Golf Club, designed by the legendary Donald Ross, who was so captivated by this landscape that he lived here more than half his life. It all adds to the allure of this championship, here for the second time, the most prestigious title in women's golf. And the final group off about an hour ago. In it, Se Ri Pak, who came into this final round 5 behind Karrie Webb, and after reaching the par 5 and 2, unable to make a birdie there from short distance. So an excellent opportunity goes by the boards for Se Ri Pak on the opening hole to try to cut into the Karrie Webb lead. Third shot for Karrie at the par 4 second. Hits it very heavy. Even ran her fourth shot well by the hole, so had this lengthy bogey, about a 12-footer or so. It looked like a double bogey, but Webb dropped it in. And so Karrie Webb, with her third bogey in the last 7, dropped to 5 under. The lead was just 4. Se Ri Pak, second shot at the par 4 fourth with a pitching wedge from 119 yards. Beautiful shot. Made the birdie to go to 2 under. And she was within 3. But the very next hole, her tee shot well right of this par 3 hole location and played a difficult lie out of the bunker. Downhill lie coming out of the sand as it rolled back in. So Se Ri Pak hit her third shot from there and then had this left for bogey to try to stay within 3. But within 4 with that bogey after she dropped to 1 under. So that was a fortunate bogey in the end for Se Ri Pak. So at the moment, Karrie Webb has the 4-shot lead over her playing competitor, the champion from Black Wolf Run back in '98, Se Ri Pak out of Seoul, Korea. Yuri Fudo, an impressive 24-year-old from Japan at +1. Julie Inkster, the champion from Old Waverly a couple of years ago, within 7. Along with Christy Kerr, +2 through 8. Dottie Pepper, +3 through 9 in this 56th U.S. Women's Open Championship. Lori Kane from Canada playing pretty well today at +3. Kelly Keeney, the 2-time U.S. Women's Amateur Champion, who's been very successful in this championship the last couple of years. There's Annika Sorenstam, who just continues a rather disappointing run at her 3rd Open Championship. And Beth Daniel at +7 through 9. As we take you out to live golf on a beautiful Sunday in Southern Pines, North Carolina, we go out to the 4th, the par 4, 393 yards, out to the 6th, and Roger Maltby. Raj?
Both players drove the ball beautifully here. Karrie Webb first to play has left herself 138 yards to the hole. Hole cut in the very front left. This is a downhill shot, also playing downwind, so it's probably not going to play any more than 115 to 20.
Well, look at greens in regulation by Se Ri Pak and Karrie Webb leading the field. And that is amazing, especially when you consider the Donald Ross humpback greens, turtle-shaped greens that force even the slightest error in shots off to the all directions.
And Karrie Webb also is #1 in fairways hit, and that's saying a lot because she's a long hitter. It's one thing to just plink it out there down the middle, but she's hitting it long and straight. She did have the wheels came off just a little at the finish yesterday, hitting just 1 out of the last 6 greens. So it's a little bit of nerves.
Well, backing off, there wasn't any noise or anything to disturb her. I think just not pleased with her setup and wants to start again.
What's the play, like 5 feet right of the hole, Raj?
Yes, John, you want to keep it a little bit right of the hole. The green will run off to the left of the flagstick.
Choking down on it about a half an inch. She makes a nice divot on all her shots when she's hitting them well.
Well, that's just right of the hole, and it's very softly on the front edge. Surprising the ball hit that soft. Sairi Pak now 131 yards left to the hole.
What's the feeling so far out there, Roger? Do you sensing anything?
Well, certainly through the first 4, you could feel that Sairi Pak was making a bit of a move, but shot herself a little bit in the foot at the last. The 5th hole, leaving a bunker shot in the bunker. Made a very nice putt to save bogey, however, from about 12 feet. And this ball left quite a bit right of the hole into the center, right center of the green. Not her best play from there, John.
No, neither one of them were great shots.
Over to the par 3 13th. This par 3 over 200 yards today. Lori Kane, who has a 2-under round going.
Interesting hole downhill about 20-30 feet. It's into a valley, a low, so that it's encapsulated in right slope from the right side, right to left slope, and the same on the left. Beautiful swing. One of the best really swings in professional women's golf. And she hits a great shot, just a tremendous shot, but it might, see if it rolls off the back.
And after going winless in her first 125 starts, including 9 runner-ups, Lori Kane has now won 4 times. As we go over to 14, Michelle Redmond has made a huge move today, 3 under, and coming off another birdie at 13. This for birdie at the difficult 14th, the second toughest hole at Pine Needles.
Long putt. 2-putt would be excellent from here. Starts moving a little bit to the left.
Redmond began the day tied for 17th, now tied for 4th. And now here is Annika Sorenstam, tee shot at the par 3 13th.
5-iron. So a lot of balls going left here last few days. Back middle right hole location.
Annika even on her round today, a disappointing 73 yesterday on a day she hoped she would put some pressure on her rival Kari Webb. And here's what Annika said last night about her chances today. I need a miracle round and then a little more than that. Well, she shot that miracle 59 earlier this year, and she also had a tournament win where she came from 10 shots back, but asking probably a little bit too much today. She's 10 shots back of Webb, and there is Julie Inkster at the 8th, her second shot, and Kay Cockrell's with this group.
Julie Inkster 1 over today. She bogeyed the second hole and has had pars since then. Really had trouble out of the box, hitting the ball solidly. Seems to be settling down a little bit.
If you're going to score, you want to do it through 8 through 10, and also 11 and 12 are not that hard either, so you better get it 8 through 12, and that's hanging in there.
Because 13 through 18 is very difficult. This is at the 7th, third shot for Yuri Fudo of Japan, who's just been very impressive.
Nice touch there. Hit it right into the little brow just to kill it and then trickle down the hill.
She's won 8 times on the Japanese LPGA Tour. As we go back over to the leaders at the 6th, Sairi Pak.
Well, from across the green, that's about a 30-footer. And it should move a little bit her left in the middle of the putt, and I think it may straighten up in the area of the hole.
Good looking putt. Is it enough? Just not quite enough. And over at 14, Redmond for her par to keep intact this 3-under round.
Took it back very slow and really popped it one at the bottom, blew it through the break.
And back over to the 6th, Kari Webb circling around a birdie attempt.
Well, this from just about 20 feet, putting uphill most of the way. Then it starts to level out in the area of the hole and actually maybe run away from the player a little bit. Johnny, another one of the kind of crown greens that we see so often here.
Yeah, the hole locations have sort of stepped it up a notch today. We've got a really tough one at 18. 17's a good one also, so the finish is going to be tough, but throughout the round, the players have got to even hit it even better today, and combine that with the pressure of the Open. It's not unusual to see Kari Webb 1 over par for the day, and Sari Pak just bogeying, but she's level for the day. Hasn't made a birdie in 14 holes, Roger. Kari Webb.
And still looking for a birdie, but that should be an easy par for Kari Webb as we welcome to the most prestigious championship in women's golf. Dan Hicks along with Johnny Miller, and has been rather a Tiger-esque couple of years for Kari Webb, who's picked up 13 wins. She's been pretty overshadowed by Tiger's impressive play, but really not so Tiger-esque when you look at how she's closed the rounds. Tiger's just lost the lead twice on the PGA Tour in tournaments that he's had the lead or shared it going into the final round, but Kari Webb has let it get away 8 times. So maybe the rest of the field here has a shot, maybe knowing that Kari's let it get away at least that many times.
That's not really a bad percentage. You know, even Jack Nicklaus, the great Jack Nicklaus, was in the high 600s. So she's not far from that. But, of course, Tiger set new standards. But Kari is a complete player. She hits it long. She has a flawless golf swing. Good putter, and she hits it straight as we've seen this week off the tee. And her iron game, I think, is a notch better than everyone else in women's golf because she hits it higher. She gets all her distance in the air. A lot of the women hit a good strong flight and get a lot of roll to get it out there, but Kari basically does it all in the air, and then the irons the same way. Her irons come down more vertically, so they don't take that one big hop before the backspin. So that's a big advantage, especially on firm greens that are domed.
And coming into this championship, Kari Webb really has to try and get back her #1 status. I mean, Annika Sorenstam with the incredible start she's had at 2001 with 5 wins and 10 starts out of this championship. But this is a chance for Kari Webb to steal the spotlight back in women's golf at the biggest tournament they play.
Yeah, she has a great record going. You know, just 26 years old, 23 LPGA wins and 3 majors, Du Maurier and LPGA, and then maybe 2 Opens, who knows. But she's on a great pace right now. Sari Pak, of course, who's her main challenger right now, just 23 years old, but already 10 LPGA wins. And, of course, she's won the Women's Open and the LPGA Championship. So she's a very strong contender to go against Webb. So Webb's got her hands full. She's got to play good golf.
And remember, last year in the Open when Kari won, she had a 4-shot lead heading into the final round, but watched all of that lead slip away in the back 9 before going on to win the championship. Gary Koch on the tower, and on the course, Roger Maltby, Kay Cockrell, and Jane Crafter, and handling the features, Jimmy Roberts, and handling the interviews is Hannah Storm in the clubhouse here at Pine Needles, and David Fay helping us out with any rules interpretations that we may run into on this championship Sunday. Out to the 13th, long birdie attempt for Sorenstam.
Going with a putter. It's a good looking putt right there. Yeah. Oh, that's just the way her week's gone. And I think you'll probably see it on her face that it's been a lip out kind of week for her.
Over at the short par 4-8, this is Inkster for birdie from just off the green.
Quick putt here. See, it's almost picking up speed right in there. And then slowing down a little easier, of course, it would have gone in.
Well, Inkster had that great run yesterday with 4 straight birdies over to 16.
And the par 3 today measuring 170 yards. This just a moment ago. Birdie putt for Kelly Robbins. Yeah, finds the hole, moves Robbins to 7 over for the championship, just 1 over in the final round, and that's just the 2nd birdie of the day at 16. We go back to 13.
And Kane for her birdie.
This is a rare birdie also if she were to make this. Good strong hole there. Ball's turning a little left, but then flattens out at the hole. And like so many putts we've seen all week long, the players are leaving them just a little short when they get any kind of distance on them.
Well, Inkster missed that short par putt at the 8th, so she falls back to +3. Here was a look at it a moment ago. Very unusual for Inkster, who's just so careful about managing her way around the golf course. Let that one get away.
I bet she hasn't hit a putt like that since she was a teenager.
Maybe since she was an amateur, and that was a long time ago, as Webb has the lead by 4. And speaking of the amateurs, quite a battle between 2 amateurs for low amateur honors. Always a big honor. Natalie Gulbis, 18 years old, who just finished her freshman year at Arizona. Here's how she was finishing up for par at 18. An unfortunate horseshoe lip out there. She shoots 73 and was at plus 12 for the championship. So the reigning NCAA champion from Duke, Candy Hanneman, playing her final hole, chipping from in front of the green. Her third shot needed to get it up and down from that spot to take low amateur honors. And here was the par putt for the 20-year-old. Native of Brazil, runs it in to just edge out Gulbis for low amateur honors. Final round 73 there for Hanneman, plus 11 for the championship. As we take a look at the board, Hanneman just won better than Gulbis. Stephanie Keever out of Stanford, and Christina Kim tied at plus 16. 4 amateurs making it out of the total of 20 who came here. And right now, Hanneman is with Hannah Storm.
Well, Candy, did you realize that you had to get up and down on 18 to win?
Not really. I kind of knew it because my caddy told me, but I wasn't sure that I had to. I kind of had an idea, but wasn't sure.
Now, you go to school just up the road here at Duke, and you were telling me you've had a chance to play Pinehurst number 2 a lot. How did that help you this week?
It really helped me because the greens are kind of similar, and you have to hit a lot of greens and play smart, so it really helped me for this week.
And what are your plans? You're just finishing up your junior year at Duke.
Yeah, I'm going to play a couple tournaments this summer, and then I'm going to go back to school in September.
All right, and turn pro after that, hopefully?
Yeah, after that I'll turn pro.
All right, well, congratulations on being low amateur. Let's go back out to Dan.
Okay, Hannah, and the action at the 7th. There's the leader by 4, Kari Webb.
401-yard par 4. Roger, you're on top of the hill there.
Another perfect drive, John. 175 yards to the hole. Hole cut all the way in the back in the rightish deep portion of the green. Now went into the player's face.
Do not want to hit it hole high left to go way down that hill.
This is a 5-iron. This ball starting right of the hole, drawing right at it.
That'll do it, Roger.
That's a beautiful shot.
Just another Webb precision iron to the par 5 10th. This is Pepper for eagle.
Easiest hole on the golf course right here. It's hardly even called a 5-par, but it's a hole that you can make eagle. Birdies are just everywhere.
Tap in birdie for Pepper, brings it back to plus 2, 1 under in her final round. And back over to the 7th, Se-Ri Pak trailing Webb by 4, and with Webb close like that, seems like it puts a little bit more pressure on Pak to try to get it inside of that.
Well, this from 168 yards. This is a 6-iron she's got out.
Perfect setup. Aiming right at it.
This ball's starting to the right, turning back toward the hole.
Uh-oh. Trickle City.
That was a much flatter trajectory, John. That ball wouldn't hold.
Yeah, it's rolled all the way down that hill, and now she's got another tricky pitch shot.
So the 98 U.S. Women's Open champion continues her chase on the defending champion Kari Webb. Well, this week at Pine Needles has offered a much different kind of test for some of the finest women players in the world, and for more on that, here's Gary Koch.
Thanks, Dan. These Donald Ross design greens feature many edges that slope away. And if a ball happens to roll down one of these slopes, well, it's going to end up in an area some 3 to 8 feet below the level of the putting surface. Now, that is going to leave some very interesting recovery shots. In fact, we've seen the players use anything from a fairway metalwood to a putter. And yesterday, behind the 17th green, we saw Julie Inkster use a wedge with some great results. Now, just keep in mind that all of these recovery shots are going to require great touch and imagination. Another thing these sharp edges do is effectively reduce the size of the putting surface. So that puts an even greater premium on the approach shots into the green. So it should come as no surprise that the top 2 names on the leaderboard, Kari Webb and Se-Ri Pak, lead the field in greens hit in regulation through the first 3 rounds.
Okay, and thanks, Gary. And here is Se-Ri Pak coming up one of those slopes you talked about.
Oh, man. What was that, Roger?
Well, John, all the grain of the grass, although not long, was against her. And I think that ball just kind of jumped.
Wow.
She got a little grass between the club face and the ball, and it just spit out of there.
And up ahead to 8. Fudo for par to remain at plus 1. Another solid stroke for Fuda, who had a tremendous year last year. 6 wins and the leading money winner over in Japan. And over at 14, second shot for Lori Kane at the second most difficult hole. Kane again 2 under on her round, and that's not a bad place to be if you're going to be off the green, just short right in front. To 9.
The second shot for Wendy Doolin.
Doolin just absolutely bombed a drive down here, 295 yards. Just almost a pitch shot to the screen.
Downwind, as you can see.
We'll go to 7.
And Kari Webb. Roger?
Well, this is about a 15-footer, and Johnny, I think this is a pretty big putt right here for her. I mean, this goes a long way to really squashing Sayri Pak.
Yeah, it'd make that back 9 a little more enjoyable.
Well, after Sayri hit that chip shot, you can bet it really got Kari's attention in trying to hold this one.
Not much here, is there? Just a little. Look at this. That was beautiful camera work there. That looked cool.
So Kari Webb has her first birdie of the day. It comes at the 7th, and she's back to even par in her round, 6 under, and the lead is back up to 5. And over to 18, Jill McGill, who was just a shot out of the lead after the first round with her 68 on Thursday. This was her birdie attempt at 18 today after she called yesterday just an exhausting day of golf as all the field was playing catch-up after the weather on Friday, but rolls in the birdie for a +2 round of 72 for 29-year-old Jill McGill. Nicely done. And back over to the 7th. This is Sayri Pak after that pitch came streaking by.
Well, you know, now Sayri Pak's got her back to the wall. And just 3 holes ago was within 3 shots of the lead. Now just trying to keep it to 5 shots behind and hopefully not 6.
Easy putt, though, huh, Roger?
Yeah, it is. Just doesn't do much, John. It's not a hard putt.
Sayri said she made an adjustment on the 18th hole late in the day yesterday. Kind of said she was too open in her address.
Did she hit it?
Didn't hit it.
Gave a little loft at the bottom there, Roger. Open.
But seems to still be struggling with her putting touch. Never really got it in sync yesterday and has been very up and down today. Webb has a 6-shot lead. Right here on NBC, they post another birdie on the board for Webb, and with Pak's bogey, there is just one player left in the red, and that is Webb, who is now 6 shots clear of Sayri Pak. On the tee at the par 4 8th, shortest par 4, just 327.
Fairways. She's dissecting the center of the fairways.
And over at 14, Lori Kane for her par. That's a good one on the difficult 14th. She remains at +3, 2 under in her round today. Well, let's go to Jimmy Roberts.
Well, Danny, now here we've arrived at Sunday at the Open, and justifiably all of the attention seems to be focusing in on those people who are in contention for this championship and what it might mean in history and what it might mean in their lives. But earlier in the week, that wasn't necessarily the case. There were a number of stories, including a very interesting one about a 36-year-old reinstated amateur. A lot of attention on Brenda Corey Keene. Why? Well, as you may be able to see in this shot right here, she's pregnant. One of 3 women to have entered this championship this week who is pregnant, but she is 8 months pregnant. Had an interesting week. A lot of people paying attention to her on a number of national news shows. She said that she's gained 25 pounds, and there have been a number of swing changes. She doesn't get as much height. She doesn't get as much length as she would have hoped in the past, but she also has some trouble following through. As for this week, she shot, she shot rounds of 79 and 84. She missed the cut by 11 strokes. Her caddy was her husband, who's also a doctor, but he is not an obstetrician. He's an oncologist, which is a cancer doctor. As for her regular doctor, he told her it was absolutely no problem to play as long as she'd been playing golf all along, which is something she had been doing. She couldn't understand what the big deal was about, why everybody was making such a fuss over her pregnancy and playing golf. She said she's just not allowed to do things that she hadn't done before. So she said, I guess no bungee jumping, and I guess no skydiving. Out to 8.
Okay, Jimmy, and Kari Webb with that 6-shot lead. Now on this short par 4.
See how the holes are on this golf course, every one of them is just framed just perfectly. I mean, the canopy around these holes is made in heaven, so to speak. The holes go through a lot of little mini valleys, and it's got a great sense of tranquility and peace about the course. It looks so natural, huh, Roger?
It does. It is just gorgeous, John, as you say. And now Kari has the enviable position of just being able to put it on kind of cruise control and make Seri do something spectacular. She can put it at the center of the green, this hole all the way in the rear portion of the green. Does not have to attack it. Can take the back side of the green out of play and just put it in the center. That's from 130 yards.
These next 3 to 5 holes, though, the one thing you don't want to do is just par them and then let Pak make 4 birdies or something. So I think she needs to stay conservatively aggressive, if there is such a thing. In other words, these are birdie holes.
That's right at it.
That's what I mean. These are birdie holes. She should just, if I was her right now, I'd just take the field right out of the championship if I could.
At the 11th, Dottie Pepper with a terrific second shot to this par 4. Now has this for birdie. And that is back-to-back birdies for Pepper, who is making a bit of a move of her own up the leaderboard. Now in a tie for third at +1 and back over to 8. And with these greens drying out even a little bit more, Roger, it's difficult. Would you say it's difficult to make a comeback on this golf course?
You can spin it, though, with these wedges on, Roger. This is no problem at all, is it?
No, it's from 112 yards, and it's back into the wind slightly. This will spin.
You just got to pick your spots, that's all.
That's a good-looking shot, too.
That's good. Well, when you have a 4 or 5 or 6 iron, sort of like Pak did, you don't want to be going over greens. That's a good point that you're making. When you got wedges, go for it.
Seri Pak 6 behind Webb, who has in her sights her second straight U.S. Women's Open title. Last to do it, Annika Sorenstam, who pulled it off on this very same hallowed piece of golfing ground at Pine Needles Lodge and Golf Club. Kari Webb even through her first 7 holes today. 6-shot lead over Seri Pak, who has 2 bogeys and is +1 in a round. That is why Webb's lead has gone from 5 to 6 through the first 7 holes, playing even par golf.
And Webb's looking at another birdie here. So this is an important putt for Pak.
This was a moment ago, Pak's birdie attempt before Webb and rolling it in.
That's a good stroke.
That's her second birdie. Pak moves back to 1 under and over to 9.
Yuri Fudo for a birdie.
And just missing it on the left, but a great birdie attempt there from Yuri Fudo. Playing pretty steady golf today.
Currently stands at 1 over par. Made 1 birdie and 1 bogey. We'll go back to 8.
Okay, the lead for the moment now just 5. Kari knocks this in. It'll be back up to 6, Raj.
Well, it's about a 7-footer, and it's the perfect angle to putt from. I don't believe there's any break in this putt. Just doesn't do much from here, pretty much up the fall line of the green.
Pushed it right off the blade, huh, Raj?
So a 1-shot swing in favor of Seri Pak at the 8th. And who knows, earlier we queried some of the golfers chasing Kari and asked, what is it going to take to catch her?
It's going to take her making some mistakes. I think it's the wind's supposed to pick up in the afternoon, and it's just going to take a phenomenal round of golf from hopefully me.
It's going to take probably my best round ever. Probably need to be at least, probably I would imagine, about 4 or 5 under par.
Fairways and greens and a few putts dropping.
A little help and a low number.
Dottie very succinct and to the point. And if you look at the final round scoring average in this championship for Kari Webb, Johnny, it's really her worst day has been the final round.
Well, right now, of course, Kari Webb, 5-shot lead over Sairi Pak. The Dottie Pepper and the rest of the gang probably need a miracle. But if Pak can make a couple birdies the next few holes and cut that lead down to maybe even 4, and get those tough finishing holes from 13 to 18. Get her, in other words, pick up a couple shots between here and 13, and get her thinking about, well, maybe my lead's not safe. Then she's got a chance, because those finishing holes can, really Webb can bogey half of them easily.
Well, here's Pepper at the 12th. Said she had to shoot a low number. She's doing her part, especially in the last 2 holes where she's got back-to-back birdies. That one comes up short.
That is the one spot on the golf course that you just cannot put the ball. That is the worst fall off on the golf course right there. There is a hole down there.
Over to 9.
Yeah, the 376-yard par 4. Pretty much a straightaway hole, playing slightly downhill. Sairi Pak on the tee.
I was going with the 3-wood here, Gary. Wind helping, I think, a little bit from the left. It's fading a little bit down the right side of the fairway, right center. Should be good.
Well positioned. Innocent looking hole, especially today. The hole located kind of in the middle left portion of the green, but there's only been 1 birdie recorded at the 9th today. Here's a good look down. Fairway some 30 yards in width.
Well, I think if you made them 3 yards wide, this lady would have hit most of them.
42 out of 48 fairways. Is that any good?
And I mean right in the center, too.
Well, usually when somebody says that, it hexes them, but not this time, huh?
This is perfect. Just perfect.
So both Webb and Pak safely in the fairway at the 9th. All right, Webb 5 ahead. Sairi Pak, can she make a run? We'll find out.
Jenny!
You gotta be kidding me!
Great moments in golf. NBC Sports.
And one of the greatest expressions I've ever seen in any sport anywhere. And you may be wondering what's happened to Jenny. She turned pro, but has really kind of struggled, Johnny. She's been unsuccessful in a couple of attempts at the LPGA Q School. She tried to qualify for this year's championship, missed out by 7 shots, and now is doing a lot of her golf in Asia, Europe, and the Futures Tour. And in that championship, lost to this woman, Sairi Pak, in a dramatic 20-hole playoff on Monday. It was really something to watch at Black Wolf Run, and now Pak finds herself trying to chase down Webb for her 2nd title.
Of course, birding the last hole to cut the lead to 5.
Well, this playing straight downwind and rather breezy now. This from 136 yards, and that's carried well into the green.
Oh, that better slow down. Oh, very fortunate. Another 2 or 3 feet, and that ball rolls 7 or 8 feet below the green. Go up to 12.
And Pepper's 3rd after coming up short.
Really hard to get this close, but not bad.
So Pepper, with back-to-back birdies, has that par putt left to try to remain at +1, keep it 2 under on this Sunday, and over to the 9th.
Kari Webb getting ready for her 2nd shot, Roger.
Well, that's from 133 yards, and again, it plays downhill slightly and very much downwind right now. Wind has really picked up a lot in the last 5 to 10 minutes.
So front yardage just 122. The hole cut on 11 paces.
And that's got to be what she's looking at. It's just the front edge yardage.
Well, Christy Kerr said in her little interview that the wind was going to come up this afternoon. She did her homework.
It's now a wedge.
Probably going to learn from Pak's shot, you'd think, huh, Raj?
Boy, that really carried Sairi's shot. this one at the center of the green. I think she might have got it just a little heavy.
Well, certainly no problem there. That is the characteristic of these greens. If you leave it short, you're usually in better shape. Take a look at this wedge second shot. Big, high backswing, full turn, and an awful lot of grass coming out of there. You noted that she takes a little divot usually when she hits her shots well. That was quite a bit of divot. We'll go to 18.
And Emily Klein for her par to finish out at +7 for this championship.
A lot of putts are being made at this whole location. There's not much break. She hit that ball outside the hole and was fortunate to have it come back. Just barely came back enough.
71 for Klein, the U.S. Junior Girls Champion back in '91. And back over to Dottie Pepper at the 12th for par to stay at +1.
Birdie's last 2 holes. Delicately touches that ball. Oh, man, that was close.
Gives one back, falls back to +2. 1 under on her round, and over to the short par 5 10th. This is a birdie attempt for Doolin. Okay.
Doolin hit it hole high right, pitched to this point. Well, that's unfortunate. She was so close to the green in 2. That would have gotten her back to +1 for the championship, but stays at +2.
And Julie Inkster now for birdie K.
Well, Julie hit a great 7-wood, landed it right in the middle of this green, and her eagle putt came up about 3.5 feet short. And she's certainly going to take her time with this short one. We saw her lip out that almost a gimme at the 8th.
That's one of the shortest putts I've seen anybody miss, let alone Julie Inkster.
Well, that's one of those where it's almost like your brain just went blank. I mean, she could make those in her sleep.
Backhand them in, huh?
Absolutely. And that, as you know, Johnny, really kind of sends a shock through your body.
Well, Julie contemplates that. We go back over to the 9th, and Sairi Pak's third.
Well, this is a chip that'll be uphill and into the wind. It'll be slow.
Well, she certainly got it there, Roger. How far by is that?
Well, that's got on by a good 6, maybe 7 feet, it looks like, from here. I'm back behind the green, but not well judged there.
Back over to 10.
And Inkster ready now. That was a good stroke. Inkster moves it back to +2. +1 on a round today over at the 12th. Christy Albers for birdie. 5.5 months pregnant. You just heard Jimmy Roberts talk about 3 in the field this week who are expecting, and Albers with a birdie at the 12th moves to 1 under on a round today, +3 for the championship. Her husband caddying for her this week, Fred. As we remind you to log on to NBCSports.com for all of your golf news and information. It is all at NBCSports.com, the official website of NBC Sports. At the par 5 10th, Yuri Fudo going for it, Jane.
Indeed she is. She had 217 to the hole here. The 3-wood. Just barely sneaking it on.
Jane, pretty impressive player, isn't she?
She really is, Dan. I've been impressed with her game. Pretty steady, not real long, but has a great touch around the greens, and she's doing really well. I was talking to one of the Japanese photographers, and she has just done fabulously on the JLPGA the past couple of years.
And we go over to the 9th.
And the birdie putt from just short of the green for Kari Webb. This ball will move to the right. Well, Roger, nicely judged for speed.
Good speed, because this green runs away from the player slightly from front to back. I thought that was well done.
Well, the MetLife blimp Snoopy 2 is cruising high above the skies over Southern Pines, North Carolina, to provide you with this aerial coverage of the 2001 United States Women's Open. Blimp typically cruises at a speed of 35 miles an hour at an altitude of some 1,200 feet. And boy, we've got plenty of Carolina blue sky today.
What is it about the Carolina blue sky, Gary? I mean, why is it so blue?
Well, it is just picture perfect, isn't it, Danny?
Well, so picture perfect, Gary, that The Pine Needles Lodge and Golf Club was rewarded once again. It is coming back for the 3rd time in 2007. The announcement coming yesterday. As we take a look at the future sites next year in Hutchinson, Kansas, at Prairie Dunes, out to California in 2003, back to Pumpkin Ridge in 4, Cherry Hills 2005, and then Pine Needles again in 2007.
And Interlaken there in 2008. Great old course there in Minneapolis area.
Back to 9.
Par putt now for Pak. Should move a little to the right. Boy, that's a very tentative stroke, Johnny.
Wow.
Tentative. So a bogey with nothing more than a wedge or a 9-iron second shot to the 9th. Drops her back to even.
Made a couple mental errors with those irons, didn't she? Both greens that she went over.
Well, you can't go long here. I mean, we've talked about it all week. Long or pin high offline usually will not leave you much.
I think she's having a pretty good discussion with her caddy right there about those club selection errors.
That is Colin Can, Gary, Annika Sorenstam's caddy for her 2 Open Championships, including the one back here in '96, conferring with Seri now.
And Webb taps in safely for her par. Remains at 6 under and now 6 ahead of Pak. And we'll go to 13.
Long par 3, 205 yards. Dottie Pepper. Maybe a bit steamed after that bogey at 12.
You got to factor in the wind and the downhill here. It's not easy to get the right club.
Sit down. White. Sit. White. Sit. Sleep.
4-iron, 215.
Dottie. She could stare a hole through a green and a caddy.
Yes. She's incredulous with her length there with a 4-iron. That's a big 4-iron.
A beautiful par 5 10th here, Johnny. The sharp dog leg to the left.
Well, these bunkers on the left, Roger, are definitely the big issue. Kari did go into that bunker on the left once already, so I'm sure she's she's actually struggled on the 5s, Roger, just making only 1 birdie on all the 5 pars this week. It's pretty hard to believe she's got a 6-shot lead birdieing 1 5 par. Of course, there's only 2 of them on the golf course.
Going with the 3-wood again today, as she did yesterday.
Did you catch all that, or is that high?
It's a little high and left, John. Headed for that bunker again.
Oh, boy. That is a mental error there. Well, you know, golf's not a perfect game, though, is it, Raj?
There are mishits.
If we could hit it where we wanted, we'd never lose.
Well, a look at Seri Pak's first 9 adventure, and it's been a bit of a one. The birdie at the 4th, bogey, and then a bogey at the 7th, back with a birdie at the 8th, and then that unlikely bogey at the 9th.
Good chance here. I mean, it's some kind of chance for a couple shot swing. She can make eagle here. This is definitely an eagle hole. Is this a driver or 3-wood, right?
It's a 3-wood too, John. Just going down the right center of the fairway, drifting a little bit right, but it's okay.
Pretty big hit. Seri Pak has has always been a fairly long hitter, but she really got into better shape last year, and that has added even further distance. Up ahead, Yuri Fudo for eagle.
Long putt across this green, not a lot of break.
That was a moment ago.
Typical, just so many putts coming up short this week.
So now live, Yuri for her birdie, Jane.
About 6 feet, pretty straight uphill there, Dan. She's holed a number of these so far today, and that's another excellent effort for birdie.
And Fudo moves to even par and a tie for second with Seri Pak. So Seri Pak, born and raised in South Korea, and Yuri Fudo from Kumamoto, Japan, tied for second. Now Dottie Pepper over at the 13th. After exchanging some words with her caddy. Has that left for her par. to remain at +2 in the most prestigious women's championship of all, the United States Women's Open. From Pine Needles, Kari Webb with a 6-shot lead as she heads to the back 9. In the bunker, though, at the par 5 10th, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to NBC Sports, continuing coverage of this USGA Championship, the first of 13 individual USGA events, which will be conducted this year by the USGA. And Kari Webb heads and shoulders above the field for the moment. 6 better than Sairi Pak and Yuri Fudo as we go back out to the 13th, and Dottie Pepper for her par to remain at +2. And back over to the 10th. Roger?
Well, kind of a strange wind swirl right now. Wind feeling very much to be against the players, which should not be the case. Indicative of what happened back at the 9th. So wind, let's say, coming out of the left, and it's picked up again quite strong. Sairi Pak has 217 yards to the hole, 198 to the front. I believe certainly it to be reachable, although quite uphill.
See that pretty good fall off on the left side of the green. You don't want to go there. So the right side's
right at the hole if it'll get up.
It will skip up to the edge, and looks like it'll just hold there. So a good birdie chance for Sairi, and with Webb in the bunker, let's see what she has here, Roger.
Well, she's left it back far enough. She only has 202 to the hole, but that's really not the issue now. She's far enough back from the large mound in front of this bunker that she can virtually get any club she wants up and over that mound. But I think she's going to go with about a 7 or a 6 iron and just try to advance the ball up the right center of the fairway if she can, and play a wedge for her third. Good lie. This one she caught quite heavy, I thought. It was coming up short and in the left rough. That wasn't particularly well struck.
Didn't travel that far either.
No, she only advanced that ball, I'm going to say 100 yards.
Well, she's got an interesting angle, too, to this tough left hole location, so got to be careful coming out of that rough. I'm sure she'll play conservatively so she doesn't go down this hill that we see over there.
Kari Webb, amazing career in a very short period of time.
And here at the 16th, the par 3, this long birdie putt for Lori Kane. Should turn a little to her left. Yeah. Whoa. Unexpected pleasure there. Let's see that great smile. So Kane, 2-3 over par. We go to 11.
Inkster for birdie.
She's coming off her first birdie of the day at the 10th. See if she can make it 2 in a row here at the 11th after hitting a beautiful wedge shot. Laying it down just perfectly below the hole.
She was leading the championship in birdies made, so she was making them until today.
Yesterday she had that stretch of 8, 9, 10, and 11, 4 birdies in a row. Even had a good opportunity at the 12th before it came to an end, and that one catches the edge. So Julie is going to remain at +2. 8 back of Kari Webb. Captured this championship finally at the age of 38. As we go back out to the par 5 10th and pick up the 3rd shot for Webb. Roger?
Well, just in the cut of rough, just off the fairway. The bad news here, I think, for her would be that the grain of the grass is coming against her, and also does not have the best angle, being on the left side of the fairway to this pin cut on the left side of the green.
Got so much. Is one of the bigger greens, though, Roger. She can be very conservative. Take her 5 and get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Just get it front right, front middle right, and say, okay, the tee shot cost me. If I make a 30-footer, fine, but take 5 and see you later. But you can see how much slope there is on this hill here. And you do not want to mess with that left side and into the grain. Sometimes the club will shut down if you try to hit it at the flagstick and be a little aggressive. It can turn it over.
Yeah,
What club do you think she'll hit, Roger?
Pardon me, John?
What club do you think she'll hit?
She just has 99 yards to the hole. And the ball a little bit above her feet, which I think is another concern for the ball going left. So, I think I agree with you. The wise play is short right of the hole up into the center of the green somewhere, and Walk away with 5 if you can.
She's looking out in this area here. You can see her eyes.
Just what she's done, Johnny. Smart play.
Yeah, it's actually pretty makeable. Not much break there. That's wonderful.
Tee at 13, 205 yards. Christy Kerr with another solid round going today at 1 under par at +2.
Got a good golf swing. Good game, period. Smart young woman. See a perfect setup, just right on the money. Looking right at the target, backing away. Probably somebody made a little hiccup down there. 23 years old. Tied for second in this championship than last year.
Just lucky enough. Kick right, hard.
Kerr's tee shot will just find the left edge and unfortunately catch one of those slopes and will find the bunker. And we'll go back over to the 10th.
Again, the short par 5. And Sari Pak just short of the green in 2. Roger?
Yeah, from about 60 feet coming uphill. I don't think I'll do a lot from here. May try to eke right as it loses speed. Certainly needs to hit a good chip here. Has not chipped the ball particularly well these last couple of days.
Why is she chipping this?
She could have putted it, John. I don't know.
I mean, she could have putted the last one.
Just has to make birdie here.
How about in?
This is pretty good here, though.
Good shot. It'll be an easy tap-in birdie for Sari Pak. And she'll get it back to red numbers at 1 under. She's worked so hard on her short game. That was another part of her game which she devoted so much time with. She broke up a relationship with her former teaching pro David Ledbetter and began working with Tom Creevy, and that's what they began emphasizing was a short game. They tightened her swing up a little bit, and even though the results didn't show fully last year because Sari Pak didn't win, she started feeling the results coming into this season. Now Dottie Pepper at the 14th. This is her second shot.
See a tough tucked pin on the left side here.
Fade.
Cut.
Might be going a little left. Look at these edges. So that's a pretty good golf shot, and because of the design of this golf course, you just can't go long. The first thing you got to probably tell your player if you're a caddy is we're not going long this week. We're going to keep it in front of the hole.
Well, Dottie has ratcheted up even her very loud voice the last couple of holes. That's her caddy, Worth Blackwelder, and that might be a little longer walk down the back 9 than he usually takes with Dottie.
Yeah.
Because she is into this championship.
Yeah, it's a couple shots in a row that she's hit really well and gone long.
Well, Peggy Kirkbell, the longtime owner of Pine Needles here, and signing some autographs here for some of the young girls. It's the big reason why this championship will come back here in 2007. Back over to Webb for birdie, and she rolls it in. So after driving it in the bunker at the 10th, just managed her way up the golf course and ends up matching Sari Pak's birdie at the same hole. And the lead is jacked up back to 6. Kari Webb at 7 under par.
Where Dottie Pepper is ready to play her third shot from behind the green. Not an easy one. Just carries it onto the putting surface. Oh, this is good. Beautifully played. And a little high five with Worth Blackwelder, who was actually the husband of former LPGA player Myra Blackwelder. 12th hole. This is A.J. Ethorn for birdie. And our woman from Canada who played so well in the opening round finally gets one in. Now this a moment ago at the 16th. Sophie Gustafsson from the right green side bunker. And all of a sudden, they're going in from everywhere at 16. That moves her to 5 over par for the championship. Just 1 over in her final round. And back at the 13th, Christy Kerr with her second shot. This just a moment ago. Ball should run down the hill toward the hole. And she would make that par putt and remain at 2 over. And we'll go to the par 4 11th. 367 yards. And Roger Maltby's right there.
And Sairi Pak in the primary rough on the left-hand side, and really quite a thick lie. Good news, Gary. Grain of the grass going with her. Has a shot of 135 yards. Wind coming from the left and from behind the players. So no more than a 9-iron. Just trying to hit it and land it near the front edge, just on the front edge, and with the hole cut in the front right. If you keep it a little left of the hole, that'd be perfect. Oh, this one turned left, though, coming out of there. Ruff grabbed the club and shut it down. Comes up short left of the green.
Pak's struggles will continue. She's made just 1 par in her last 6 holes. And Kari Webb.
You're not going to believe this, Gary.
Oh, she missed a fairway?
The rough.
Oh, we haven't seen that often, have we?
But it's just the intermediate cut, so it's not bad at all. 134 yards. Rough really not a factor at all.
And we see there her driving accuracy this year, which is certainly very good, 77.6%. This week, 87.5% on a USGA setup golf course. That is phenomenal. Could be some kind of record. How's that look, Roger?
This might need to get up a little bit, yeah. I think she's fooled by the wind. She thought she'd get more help from it.
So both Kari Webb and Sairi Pak missed the green at the par 4 11th. It's Webb who hasn't missed much, though. She's still 6 shots ahead. We'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back to Southern Pines. This is Sairi Pak's 3rd shot. Par 4 11th. And Roger, that's pretty well done.
Yeah, that's very well judged. As a matter of fact, I think she's a little surprised it checked up quite as quickly as it did, but nicely judged.
Well, the MetLife Blimp Snoopy 2 has teamed up with NBC Sports to provide today's aerial coverage of the 2001 United States Women's Open. The Snoopy image at the nose of the blimp measures a grand 28 feet tall. So look for Snoopy 1 and Snoopy 2 at future sporting events throughout the year. And there's some beautiful wildflowers that surround this golf course. Just a picture-perfect setting. And now Kari Webb with perhaps a little more difficult shot than Pak's.
Certainly the tougher of the 2 shots, Gary. The green much more steeply pitched up away from Kari than it was Sairi Pak, so she'll have to get this ball up in the air quickly, and then it's going to come in on a lower and hotter trajectory, and she has less green to work with. So certainly the more complicated shot of the 2.
So forced to open the club face pretty wide and make a fairly large swing.
Absolutely. And there you could see the skid because of the trajectory the ball came in on. Left herself a good 7-8 feet.
All right, so let's take another look. Face wide open. You'll see a pretty big swing for the length of shot. Cock the wrist quickly. Try to get the club under the ball. Notice how the face is held open. Just trying to get as much loft to the shot as possible. And we'll move up to the 17th. Par 4 that has been the most difficult hole on the golf course here at Pine Needles. It's Annika Sorenstam. Long putt from the fringe for a birdie. So it has been a very disappointing week for Annika. We go over to the 12th. Second shot for Yuri Fudo. Front left hole location is a tough one. Beautifully played shot there. So Fudo will have that short putt to move into red figures at 1 under par. And we go to the 15th, the 409-yard par 4. That has been a difficult one all week long. 4th most difficult hole on the golf course. And players are hitting this green less than 20% of the time in regulation. And I think a large part of that is the severely sloping fairway. You'll see here Pepper will find the ball a good 4 to 6 inches above her feet. And the other problem the players are facing, wind swirling around in this green, very protected. We go back to 11. Webb's putt for par. Roger.
This one should go a little left.
Well, Webb drops a shot. And that's certainly not a very well played hole. Not in that much trouble off the tee. Back at 15. Pepper now ready for her second. As I was saying, one of the other difficulties of the approach shot here is green very much surrounded by trees. Very difficult to pick up the wind direction. She started it right, as many have done, trying to draw it back. And that is easily the best second shot we have seen at the 15th today. Pepper has birdied this difficult hole each of the last 2 rounds, so she has to make it 3 birdies in a row here at 15 for her.
And now Se-Ri Pak for her par at 11. A chance to get another stroke back on Kari Webb.
Yeah, it's unusual to get the putter 3 or 4 inches back in your backswing and to just bail from there.
Roger, was there any noise in the gallery, or was it just her backing off?
Nothing. There was nothing here that would have disturbed her. Just didn't like the stroke, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe she took it back a little outside or inside and knew as she did it.
Just has to make this, and just never even got a piece of the cup.
That putt.
So Pak just continues the struggle.
She decided to play the ball out, Roger, and maybe just feed it in there, and she gave it a little smack.
She's got one now just under 2 feet. Not in yet, really. I mean, this will have a little bit of break to the left.
Well, the field's being very kind to Kari Webb.
So matching bogeys, and at this point of the championship, that is not going to get it done for Se-Ri Pak. She falls back to even with her 4th bogey of this round. So now Webb for bogey.
Well, it looked like really Webb was going to lose a shot on the last hole and then also on this hole. So Webb's dodged a couple bullets.
So the lead remains 6 for Kari Webb in search of back-to-back Open championships. Less than 2 weeks, the 101st U.S. Open returns to Southern Hills Country Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The 3rd time this challenging course has hosted the Open. It's the first time, though, that it's had this kind of history on the line. Tiger Woods began his major championship run at last year's U.S. Open at Pebble Beach, looking for an unprecedented 5th straight major championship. The quest continues at Southern Hills in a couple of weeks. And out to the tee at the 12th, the par 4, the leader by 6 still, Kari Webb.
Not too long of a par 4, 351 yards. It's an uphill sort of blind tee shot. The longer hitters could hit it over that rise, and she looks like she's hit it right.
Kari Webb is giving Se-Ri Pak all sorts of openings, but Pak just hasn't been able to do anything with him. 15.
Golf course is tough with these shaved fringes. Made a big difference.
Well, here at 15, Donnie Pepper eyeing a putt for a very rare birdie on this hole. We've only seen 3 today. Johnny, I always felt putting through the shadows much more difficult. As we look at the lower right, Fudo for birdie at 12.
Well, that's a rare miss for Fudo. Huh? She hasn't missed anything in that length.
I always thought putting through the shadows was very tough. Tough to pick up the break.
Yeah, you're probably right. But these greens don't break that much, most of them around the hole. She probably hit this right at it.
Yep, she knew it. So Dottie Pepper to 1 over par. 2 under par in her final round. And she is pumped up.
What a stare. What an intensity. Pretty warm day out there today, Gary. Temperatures, I would say, approaching 90. A slight breeze has made it a little more comfortable than...
I think it's made the temperature comfortable, Dan, but I think it's made the golf course play pretty difficultly. Wind has a tendency to swirl around through these pine trees as we go to 14.
And Kelly Keeney's second shot on the way to this tough par 4, part of that difficult stretch we've been talking about that the leaders are on their way to right now. And Keeney comes up short, but again, not a bad place to be. Keeney +1 in a round today, +4 for this championship, continuing her fine play at the U.S. Women's Open. And we'll continue our coverage of the French Open Friday at 10 a.m. in all time zones. Continues with the men's semifinals. Andre Agassi back at the site where he completed the career Grand Slam a couple of years ago. He's still in the hunt for a second French Open title at Roland Garros. Friday at 10 a.m. the coverage begins. At the 18th, Annika Sorenstam finishing up.
Playing a little draw to this right hole location. And let's see if that stops. It probably won't. Watch this. This is quite a green. The back of the green is like, jeez. It's just amazing. If you hit it past the flagstick there, it'll go right off the green as you saw there. So that's a mental error right there.
Well, Gary's right. This golf course is changing dramatically today, Gary.
Well, this whole this little 16th at 170 yards has really given the players fits. Hole does play ever so slightly uphill. We've seen a lot of balls come up short, and as you see right now, the flagstick, the flag, literally looking like it's not blowing at all, but that is not the case.
Up above those pine trees is blowing.
Dottie with a 4-iron.
Playing very well this year, Gary. A lot of top 10s.
A lot of chances to win. Now see, she played for that win thinking it was coming from the right. Didn't hurt her. Didn't help. 0 to 12.
Webb out of the bunker, Roger.
Good lie. Lip in front of her, but not a problem. She's back far enough, and the yardage is short enough. 125 the hole into the wind.
Solid, huh?
Solid. This ball started at the right of the green and turning left. Boy, needs to hang on from the spin a little bit, but that was really well played.
Kari Webb to Annika Sorenstam walking up this 18th fairway. Again, frustrated. Can always remember the Pumpkin Ridge walk-up 18 when she was shooting for 3 straight championships after the second straight here at Pine Needles in '96, and it's just been one open disappointment after another. Johnny, since winning here in '96, has now shot only 1 of 16 rounds under par in this championship.
Thought this would be her year, coming back here to where she won, and the way she's been tearing the tour up, shooting 59 this year. Earlier 5 wins on the LPGA Tour.
Pak second at 12 on the way.
Winning the Nabisco, the first major of the year. I thought she might be going for the Grand Slam.
So Pak just below the hole in good shape.
Yeah, Kari, you know, you look at Kari and she has been the best player, no doubt about it, the last 2 years till Annika came along. So this is not that unusual to see her finally win this year on U.S. soil.
Well, earlier we mentioned that the Women's Open Championship headed to the heartland of Hutchinson, Kansas, Prairie Dunes Country Club. You can see the ticket information, 620-728-2002 for tickets, or you can log on to the Prairie Dunes website. It'll be the course's 7th USGA championship.
As good as this course is, I think Prairie Dunes is definitely a notch better. That is one heck of a golf course. People will fall in love with it next year.
All right, 15.
Second shot for Christy Kerr on the way from just in the left edge of the fairway. Actually a very good angle to shoot toward the hole. And that a very safe and well played second shot. We'll go back to 13.
And Yuri Fudo on the tee, 205 yards, tied for second at even par.
Very slow backswing, pause, long backswing, and then just effortlessly comes down. Watch this ball chase through the green, down the hill. Again, players like Dottie Pepper, Fudo are not factoring in the downhill and the wind, and I'm surprised they're not underclubbing to keep the ball in front of the hole.
At 14, Keeney for birdie. Can you imagine?
Good backspin. Keeney really spins the ball big time.
The difference this championship would have been, Johnny, especially in the all 4 rounds had they not had the big rains before the championship began and then the big rains on Friday. I mean, we are just seeing a totally different golf course.
Yeah, that's true. Watch this shot. This could be a fairway wood chip. Gary Koch talked about the different shots you can hit. You can putt it. You could hit it with a 5, 6, 7 iron if you want. You could bump it in right on the fringe with a pitching wedge or sand wedge. You could flop it up there with a lob wedge, or you could take the fairway wood, which puts almost no backspin on the ball, which is the big key. For some reason, the fairway woods don't catch in the grass. You can't hit them fat because of the rocker sole, the rounded sole, and it doesn't spin it much, so you get a nice true roll and it crawls right up the hill. And she didn't crawl it up. Well, she did too. What a shot.
Oh, beautiful play by Sorenstam, and that will be one of the highlights she takes home. She'll save her par at 18. Back over to 12. Kari Webb.
Very makeable. We saw this putt, similar putt made by Julie Inkster in the second round, but that one didn't turn.
Should be a par for Kari and remain at 6 under, and yet another opportunity for Sairi Pak to chip away at the Webb lead. We'll get to that birdie attempt in just a moment, but over to 13. This is Fudo coming up the slope. Jane?
Well, Yuri Fudo obviously hit too much club here. Didn't factor in the wind, as Johnny said, and she's going for a lofted shot here. She's got about 11 paces of green to work with and a little bit into the wind, although the wind is really swirling. Great short game.
Really picks it up quickly, hits it in there, drives it in a low spin. Really picked the club up quickly, didn't she, Jane?
Yeah, she was on a little bit of a downslope there, Johnny. She really needed to do that.
Yeah, that was a good shot. It really was.
Yeah, just hit it a little bit too hard.
Just her second event in the United States for Yuri Fudo. And Sairi Pak with another opening to try to get it to 1 under within 5 of Webb.
And you can see only one player under par. Last time the championship was here when Annika won. Annika was -8, and Chris Cheddar was the only other one under par at -2. So the course is sort of playing just slightly tougher, but darn near the same as the last go around.
This one should go a little to her left.
Short again, Raj.
Yeah.
And that has been the theme and the trend for Sairi Pak, not only today, but throughout this championship. Yesterday, for par at the opening hole, a par 5, and that was a stinging bogey there. And for par again at the 5th yesterday, you can see her just befuddled for birdie at the 7th. And now today, that trend has continued, even though she thought she might have been a little bit open yesterday, but for birdie at the 1st, that might have been able to set the tempo for today, but the miss, and then for birdie at the 11th, didn't even catch a piece of the cup. So the putting woes continue for Pak, and when you've got Webb playing so solidly, you've got to make those.
Yeah, the putting has been a big issue. She's been ranked 49th coming into today, and today through 12 holes has 20 putts, as you can see. That's not good enough to win the championship, even though she's playing very well, ranked 2nd in greens and regulation to Webb.
Well, that's the birdie putt of Christy Albers on the way. It'll come up just a little bit short. And before Albers putted, this was Dottie Pepper's bunker shot. This is a very deep bunker, some 4 or 5 feet below the level of the green. See it coming out rather low, looking for it to run, but well, it leaves a good 7 or 8 feet for Dottie if she's going to save par. Back to 13.
And Fudo, after coming up the slope, has this for par. Jane?
Got about 15 feet here. This green is probably one of the flattest here at Pine Needles. I don't think it's going to do a whole lot. Just a little bit uphill.
What a slow stroke.
Well, she hasn't missed too many today.
Just the last couple she's missed. She could be wanting to get it into the barn, so to speak, and finish in the top 5. It would be a feather in her cap. Only playing twice over here.
Second bogey for Fudo. Julie Inkster now.
Inkster really taking a lot of time all day trying to select the club, and she and her caddy have been going round and round trying to figure out which way the wind is blowing. All in all, she's just been very indecisive.
This hole killed her yesterday. Remember, she hit it in the right rough on downslope by the bunker and hit it right.
Trying to block that memory out.
Left in the bunker, knocked it out. Double bogey.
Only 11 birdies all week at 14, the fewest yielded of any hole.
That's not a bad miss, though.
And back over to 16.
Par putt now for Dottie Pepper. She has been in 2 bunkers earlier today and managed to get the ball up and down both times, but a little bit more work cut out for her here. Putt should turn a little bit to her left. Broke hard left right at the very last second. We go back to 13.
Webb on the tee with a 6-shot lead. This par 3, 205 again.
She's got out of 5-iron. It plays downhill, and the wind is helping it from right to left. 183 to the front, just trying to pitch this ball into the front third of the green.
And this is the beginning, Roger, of the tough stretch we've talked about.
This is right at the center of the green. That was really nicely judged. Landed right on the front of the green. Very well played.
You can see how firm the green is getting there. She landed on the very front edge and darn near went over the green just a few more feet, and that would have just run right off that back edge.
Well, big Game 7 as a trip to the NBA Finals is on the line tonight. 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Ray Allen and the Milwaukee Bucks take on Allen Iverson and the Sixers. It's do or die deciding game of the Eastern Conference Finals. Don't miss it. The Bucks and the Sixers tonight at 7 Eastern on NBC. Johnny, this has been a great Eastern Conference Final. Now with the trip to the Finals on the line tonight, ought to be really special.
It's going to be rocking in Philly, I'll tell you that. And I think home court is a big advantage, but the way the jump shooters of Milwaukee have been knocking them down, especially the 3-pointers, they might steal that game. Wouldn't be surprised.
That's a 5-iron as well. Just left of the hole.
Gets a good hop, and this is going to be a good shot for Pak. But we'll see if Sairi Pak can't try and ignite something. A birdie at the 13th would be a great place to start. She's been chasing Kari Webb all day long, but trails by 6. Kari Webb has a chance to equal that feat by Sorenstam, the last time it's been pulled off. And at 18 for bogey, Lori Kane. And that is a nice round. Even with a bogey at 18, you can see she's frustrated with that. But a 69 for Kane. Only player other than Webb with 2 rounds under par this week is that Canadian right there, Lori Kane. And there is Annika Sorenstam walking off with her 72 plus 7 for the championship. And back over to 13. Mentioned how many wins she has racked up, Johnny, in what is really only a pretty short career still. 23 LPGA wins. Not a win so far this year, but 3 major championships, and at age 25 was the youngest player ever to earn her way into the LPGA Hall of Fame. She did it with her Open Championship last year, and it's just kind of odd to have a player in her mid-20s in the Hall of Fame already.
Well, they dropped the requirements down a little bit, but still isn't an easy hall to get into. It used to be the hardest in all of the sport.
Kari Webb rolls that by a little bit of a distance. Well, we just saw Annika finish with a disappointing championship run here earlier. We asked Kari Webb if Annika's hot start motivated her.
I don't have any control over how Annika plays, and she's definitely played tremendous golf this year. You know, I just I want to play well for myself. You know, the fact that she's playing well, it does motivate me a little bit to try and raise my game to get to that level again. You know, if I was only motivated by one player, then I really shouldn't be out here if I'm not doing it for myself.
The interesting point there was that she said, I need to motivate myself to get back to that level again. In other words, she's not saying she had to play better than she used to play to beat Annika. She just wanted to get back to the level she's been the last 2 years, and she figured that'd be good enough to beat Annika at her best. But I'll tell you, if the two of them were playing their A-plus game, it would be quite a show.
Clearly the two best players, Johnny, in the way they've dominated this game.
Yeah.
Player of the year the last 2 years, Kari Webb, but has a little bit of work left for her par. So yet another opening, Roger, for Se-Ri Pak.
Yes, and putt without much break. May try to go a little bit to the right, but this from 15 feet and extremely makeable.
A good stroke.
Is that going to stay right on track? So Se-Ri Pak might have gotten the spark she needs at 13 to move back to 1 under. This could be a two-shot swing.
You know, we've been raving about Webb and Sorenstam, but if you look at the third best player, it's clearly Se-Ri Pak. With her distance and ball flight, Roger, she doesn't have to take a back seat to anyone.
No, she is a very accomplished player, John. I wonder, though, I know she's working on her short game, but I don't know if it's quite at the level of a Kari Webb or an Annika Sorenstam yet.
Well, one thing you got to know, Se-Ri Pak's only 23. We sometimes forget how young she really is, but
fourth year on tour. It seems like we've seen her for a long time.
When she hits her stride, probably in about 2 years, she could very well be the best player in the game. It wouldn't surprise me if she keeps improving. Like you say, that was one of the first strokes, Roger, that I saw her make where she looked like she really released the toe slightly and got a good full follow through, made the ball turn over. Sometimes she, you know, hangs that blade a little open. She was missing everything right yesterday.
Steady par putt for Webb, but she does have her lead. Chopped back down to 5, but only 5 holes left in this championship. 17, Dottie Pepper. Second shot on the way at the longest par 4.
Oh, what a bounce that was. Sit down. Sit.
Listen to her.
We don't need to say anything, Johnny. I think Dottie's got it covered.
Look at that ball just keep trickling. But that was a good hop. She likes it.
What a bounce that was.
Then the minute she got the bounce, she was on to bite.
Well, look at Dottie Pepper moving up the board, maybe even further. 14, second shot for Fudo. Jane? 181 yards.
Hey, she's a good-looking player. I think a little bit of weight training and push-ups and things like that, just to bring her strength level up a notch, she could be a heck of a factor in in world golf. Really, she just doesn't look like she has a lot of strength.
Look how tough these finishing holes are, Johnny. Greens in regulation, the percentage hit, especially 15, less than 20% through 3 rounds. These stats.
I mean, starting on 13, you got the 6th hardest hole, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 1st, and 7th. So I mean, we're talking about from 13 on in. You better have your A game.
Well, let's go to that tee at 14. Se-Ri Pak able to get the honor here. And 14, Roger, the toughest fairway to hit, just 58% have found it this week.
And the wind against and from the left. So this is going to be a very demanding driving hole today. Certainly the bunkers down the right-hand side could be in play if they miss right, and that is not where you want to go.
Hardest fairway to hit maybe on the course, Roger?
I think so, just because the angle the players are playing at, John. It's, it angles pretty hard left to right.
Hitting the ball just opposite that second bunker on the right. Want to hit a left to that. Did she get all that?
It seemed pretty good. Maybe a little toe-ish, right to left, but it'll be good.
Sounded like a toe. Look at that thing chasing into that.
Chased right through the fairway.
Yeah, that's a bad break there. She's awfully strong, but it was just a little bit of a dive-in hook. Is that why it ran?
Yes. Yeah, it was kind of looked like a topspin forehand, you know.
Yeah.
Here's a look at the numbers at 14, playing better than a half-stroke over par. And she has loomed large. She has cast a big shadow this week at Pine Needles Kari Webb, especially in this part of her game, Roger, just fairway after fairway after fairway.
Perfect flight here. It would be straight or a little fade. You want to hit the ball so that it works just a little this direction, not the other way.
This looks to be good going up the center of the fairway.
We'll just tape record Roger. It just stayed in. We'll tape record Roger, and we'll just let it go.
Every shot.
After each tee shot of Kari Webb. 16.
Well, this just a moment ago, the birdie putt for Sherry Turner. 18th year on the LPGA Tour. Turning a little left, and an all-around good putt. So Turner to 3 over par for the championship. Playing quite well. She was one of the finished runner-up back in 1999 to Julie Inkster. That's Kari Webb continues her march toward her second consecutive United States Women's Open Championship. Sairi Pak with a birdie at the 13th. Well, she's trying to make up ground.
Back in Southern Pines, North Carolina for this USGA Championship on NBC Sports, the 56th U.S. Women's Open. Kari Webb with 5 holes to play in search of back-to-back titles. 5-shot lead over Sairi Pak, playing with her today. Yuri Fudo of Japan all alone in third at the moment, and she's over at 14 with this long birdie attempt. With that much left to remain at +1, we go over to 15.
Second shot for Julie Inkster at the long par 4. At a 4-iron from 199 yards, so trying to play the ball just past the front edge of the green. Oh, yeah. There's a good shot from Julie, who's been talking all week long about not having much confidence in her swing. We go to 14.
Fudo for her par. And the 24-year-old from Japan, who's known for her work ethic. She's the first one at the course, last to leave the range. Very hard worker, remains at +1. And this is Dottie Pepper at the 17th for a long birdie.
Now you can see this long putt across this 17th green, pretty level, really. It doesn't do a lot. It likes to break towards the back of the green, if anything, and she might not have got to the hole because she didn't realize it was slightly uphill.
Dottie really motivated by her performance here in the first championship back in '96. She missed the cut here. It was the only time she missed the cut in 18 Open Championships. Really motivated her. She went on to win 4 times that year, including 3 wins in a 5-week stretch, beginning 3 weeks after that disappointing Open. So back in '96 here at Pine Needles really motivated Dottie to turn it around. Over to 14. Look at that whole location, and the leader, Kari Webb. Roger?
Well, not a particularly good angle from the left side of the fairway, but good news is in the fairway. 151 yards to the hole, and the wind has been gusting quite strong in the player's face at times. This shot plays uphill as well, so this shot's going to play more like 165 to 70 yards.
I think she'd be just like literally 20 feet right of the hole here.
Yes, I don't think you want to mess with the left side miss here, John. I think
the location's way over there.
Yeah,
folks.
you just want to put it up into the center of the green, right front, anywhere over there you can play from.
Kari participated in her first Open at Pine Needles back in '96, finished tied for 19th. And coming into this championship, says her game has matured a lot. She says she got into a lot of heated discussions with her caddy at the time, but she now knows that to win this championship, it takes a lot of patience. Got to be a lot cooler head.
Looking out to the right. Watch your eyes. Just takes one look. That's unusual. Just one.
That was kind of thin, it sounded, John. Yeah, that comes up well short into the front bunker.
You don't really need to be doing that when you have a 5-shot lead. There's a lot of green right there after that great tee shot. Look at all the green right of the.
That almost looked like one of those swings, John, where she was trying to put it in the center of the green, and then like your instinct takes over and makes you want to pull it back toward the target.
Yeah.
And Roger, we're looking at the board right now. A moment ago, they posted the birdie for Sairi Pak at 13, and so now back up to a grand total of 2 players under par in this championship as Pak moved to 1 under.
Just like in '96, just Cheddar and Sorenstam were under par. Got two great players under par again this time. Raj, is this lie? Can she get it on the right side of the green?
It's not a good lie. It would take a lot of strength to get it up on this right side of the green. 148 yards, John, and the ball's well below her feet. That doesn't help as well.
We're going to hit the ball over here.
She got it to jump out of there. It may get up.
Wow.
That's a great shot.
That was a perfect shot. She couldn't have done any better than that, could she?
No, that's as good as she could have hoped for.
Just about hole high.
So advantage Sari Pak on this hole, you would think.
15.
Birdie putt for Julie Inkster. This very straight, not much break. And there are the frustrations of an Open Championship showing on Julie Inkster.
Well, these greens are so pure, Gary, and you get a putt that's inside the hole, and hit that good of an approach, you just feel like, I got to make this.
Up at 17, Dottie Pepper did miss her putt for a par. Brought back to 2 over. And we'll join Hannah Storm.
Here with Lori Kane, Gary, who had a 68 in the second round, a 69 today, but you said the course is playing very tough today, Lori?
I would say that this is probably the toughest the golf course has played over the week.
Why is that?
Well, the wind is up, things are firming up. It's just a true test of golf today.
Particularly those finishing holes, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
From, well, I would say the hole back 9 is a pretty good challenge, and the wind is kind of, coming left to right on some of those tee shots, so it's pushing you into the rough, and I'll tell you don't want to be in that.
You made an interesting strategic maneuver this week, put some new irons in your bag after, what'd you have, 3 doubles in the first round?
I did, and it really had nothing to do with that, but I needed to look at something fresh. The shaft I have in my Callaway irons is different than the shaft I've put in the clubs I have in the bag now. I thought, what the heck. I went over to Mid Pines after Thursday's round and played a few holes with my caddy, Danny Sharp, and hit it really solid and thought, what the heck.
So how many holes did you end up playing on?
We've probably played 27 on
And then you played
Thursday.
36 yesterday, right? So
right.
you played
a lot of golf.
ton of golf. You said you love this golf course.
Oh,
though,
absolutely.
Right?
I tell you, if I was to design golf courses, this would be the way I would design them. It's tough, though, to find land that's so primed as this is with the nice trees, and it's just the way it is. I can't imagine that it was any different than when Mr. Ross built it.
Well, thanks, Lori. Congratulations on a great championship. We're going to go back out to 14.
Thank you, Hannah. And there's Kari Webb in that bunker. What kind of shot does she have here, Raj?
Well, this is really not a very hard bunker shot. Down a bit of an uphill slope. Really not much more than 30 feet to the hole. Has to get it up quickly, but this upslope will help her with that. And then she's playing to a green that's pitched against her from back to front. So
is there a lot of left to right slope with this cut spin she's going to put on it?
No, not a lot, John. No,
just a little. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that open stance, really open. How about in?
Look at this.
Well, that's going to make it 5 of 7 from the bunkers this week. 5 of 7 sand saves for Kari Webb. Another example of a player who has the whole package.
Well, just like really the 10th hole when it looked like there was going to be a swing there, Kari just sort of stuck the knife in at certain times, Roger, to, Sari Pak right now is thinking she might pick one up there.
Head to 16.
This is Kelly Keeney's bunker shot. The left bunker, a very deep one, some 5 feet below the level of the green, and that's a well-played shot. But it wasn't as good as what she did in Thursday's opening round from the right bunker. Right in the hole for an easy birdie. This young lady understands how to play USGA-type golf. Won the women's amateur a couple of times, the girls junior. Had 2 very good finishes in the women's open. And now this for par. All right, good up and down for her. She will remain at 4 over for the championship. It's just 1 over in her final round there. We talk about the 2 recent finishes in the Women's Open. 3rd in 99, 6th last year. And we'll go to 14.
You see Pak at 1 under, trailing by 5. Webb already has her par here, and Pak with a long birdie attempt, Raj.
Yeah, this from about 45 feet. We'll break right to left. Putted from the right side of this hole yesterday and left it short. It is a slow putt headed in this direction. See if you can remember. This one's going to get there.
And then some.
That's a good roll, though, Roger.
That was a good aggressive roll, and she hasn't done that often enough really today.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Back over to 16.
There's a 4-iron for Julie at the 170-yard par 3. Playing it right to the front of the green, letting it release a little bit. Nicely done. And back at 15, this is Yuri Fudo from the left rough, and that is some nasty stuff. Well, Johnny, that big upright backswing, it looked like she got quite a bit of club on the ball.
She did. She choked down the club about 2 inches, but that was one heck of a shot.
That was. Makes it just to the front edge of the green. Back to 14.
And a must-maker for Pak if she's got any designs on catching Webb somehow, some way during the last 4 holes here.
Yeah, she certainly can't make any mistakes from this point. From Karrie Webb to, she's going to have problems for Savory to have a chance here. And this putt should be inside left.
Okay, so the lead remains 5 for Webb. Now 4 holes left. And over at the 18th, Dottie Pepper doing her usual alignment.
Well, she hit a poor drive in the left rough. The only good news about it, you can see that flagstick waving on the right side right there, and she has a beautiful opening into this green. She does not need to land it very close to the green. She can land it 30 yards short and it'll track on. You don't want to go long, Dottie. Been long in a couple shots, choking down about 3 inches. It's going right at the pin. Look at that shot.
She caught that out of there, didn't she?
Now you got to be lucky, though. It's going to do it. That's a heck of a shot. Nice way to finish for Dottie.
Beautiful shot.
Look at this. That is a great golf shot. Look at it. And she needed to be motivated.
You think Worth's hand's not stinging a little bit from that one?
I'll tell you, she's a fireball.
And now they love each other. Well, it's always been a tight pairing, Dottie and Worth. I mean, we showed earlier Dottie getting a little heated after, but it was more about just the incredulous the thought of her own that the iron might have been too long. No, certainly nothing offensive toward Worth. Over at 15.
Yuri Fudo using the putter from just short of the green. And this is very well done. Judged very nicely. A lot of players have left it short from there up the slope. Back on the tee at the 409-yard par 4. Sari Pak.
Well, it's going to play every inch of its 409 yards today. Wind hurting, huh? From the right, Gary?
Yes. And very severely sloped fairway, Roger, from the players right to left.
4th hardest hole in the golf course this week.
All started down the right-hand side, not really drawing much.
And it will find the right rough, although it appears to be sitting up.
Well, next Saturday, 5 Eastern on NBC, the exciting conclusion to the Visa Triple Crown, the Belmont Stakes, 5 o'clock. Super Horse Point Given redeemed himself a couple of weeks ago with that victory in the Preakness. Now Point Given and Derby winner Monarcos knew their rivalry in the final leg of the Visa Triple Crown, 5 o'clock next Saturday.
And that is Udo's par putt at 15. And
Oh, Gary, that was not a good effort. I fully expected her to make that one.
Back on the tee, Karrie Webb.
Choking down on that, Gary.
This ball high into the right. Starting to try to draw back. That was not hit particularly solid there. That was popped up.
Well, it finds the fairway, but it is going to leave a very long second shot for Karrie Webb. Savory Pak in the right-hand rough, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
Dottie Pepper, you saw the magnificent fairway wood out of the rough and trying to finish up with a birdie, and it just curls in. Pepper +2 for the championship, 1 under round of 69, and she's never won this prestigious title, but she continues a great track record in it. Top 20 in 12 of the last 14 years. And she'll add another top 20 statistic to that by her performance, now tied for 3rd.
Leader in the clubhouse.
This would be her 6th top 3 finish this year. She's 2nd on the money list, but still looking for that first win.
Yeah. Well, the international players have pretty well dominated that stat.
Remember last year she withdrew because of a bad back, but comes back to this championship, posts a nice 4-round total. But Kari Webb 6 under total so far, 5 clear of Se-Ri Pak.
Well, she has left herself a very lengthy second shot here at 15, Roger.
211 yards by my estimates, a drive of just over 200 yards. Did not hit it well at all. Has a long iron and maybe just trying to put it in front of the green. And on the front at best, I think, into the wind here. This one turning left.
Well, will it hang up? No, it won't. It'll funnel down, but that's not a bad miss. A lot of green to work with. Yeah. Well, today the MetLife Blimp Snoopy 2 is navigating the skies above the Pine Needles Golf Club to provide the aerial coverage of the 2001 United States Women's Open. MetLife Blimp is capable of reaching a maximum speed of 55 miles an hour at an altitude of some 7,000 feet. And now Se-Ri Pak.
A very good lie in the right rough, 182 yards. Ball a little above her feet, which is not going to help her get back to this hole on the right side of the green. Like she might have got just a tinch heavy, but let's see if it'll run.
Well, that area, the front of the green, has been very soft earlier in the week, but firming up with the wind and the sun today. And that a very nicely played shot.
Well, with Kari Webb in clear command of this championship, Webb from Australia brings up an interesting point and a trend that is seemingly has continued after the first 41 championships. Just 3 foreign champions, Johnny, but the last 14 championships, half have not been from the United States.
Yeah, it's actually after this one, it's going to be 6 out of the last 7 have been by internationals. The only U.S. player that's won in that 7-year span is Julie Inkster, of course. So when she set the record at Old Waverly in Mississippi.
Yeah, there's just so many young players coming over here to the United States these days, and with the fine collegiate programs that are available, they're getting top instruction, and it's not like they're really from abroad. It's also demonstrated by the high number of players who are just regular members of the LPGA Tour from other countries. I mean, it's gotten that international. If you ask the players, they say, you know what, we don't even really consider them from abroad anymore. I mean, they're just here. We see them every week.
But there is a big question mark there about U.S. golf.
At the 16th, that is Fudo's second shot.
That's not her best effort, but she should make, I think. Got a pretty solid short game, Gary.
Well, Jane, what are your thoughts on the discussion that Johnny and Dan were just having?
Well, I think that's pretty interesting. I think that is true about the college program, but I would have to say that even those that don't go to college that come over, like Kari Webb, when she just completed high school, had no college education, but she made a great hit on the scene right away.
So what's the secret for you Aussies and Swedes and the different ones, huh?
I don't know. I just think golf is just really booming right now. You know, Australia's always been a great golfing nation. We've produced many great champions.
You're looking at the international dominance on the LPGA Tour and how it's increased through the years. Look at the 13 wins of the 15 events this year. Only Julie Inkster and Rosie Jones, the Americans, to win this year. I mean, they have really made their presence known. As you look at Kari Webb, over at the 15th, Gary.
Getting ready for her third shot, and Roger, not the worst of positions.
No, it really isn't. I'm sure with the iron shot she played from the fairway, she was just trying to take over the green out of the quotient, and she did just that, so now she's pitching uphill. Not a real difficult pitch.
To the left of the green, we have had a lady here all week long who has been doing some wonderful work. Nice rendering of the green here at 15 with the scoreboard behind. We move ahead to 18.
And Christy Kerr is second, even par. Obviously something.
Just checking the wind. A little gust swirls around down in there, and caddy reassures her, "You got the right club there, Christy. Just trust it." At least that's what the caddy should be saying. You want the player to feel like make a commitment to the shot. The last thing you want to do is go, "I'm not sure about this, but I'll hit it anyway." Again, I have said it 2 or 3 times. If you're going to grab a club, make sure it's a club that keeps you in front of the hole. Don't err on the long side, especially here at 18. If you hit the ball approximately 6 feet past the hole, you'll end up with about an 80-foot shot. In other words, all you have to be is 6 feet by in those shadows, and you end up all the way off the green. Hopefully she won't show me that. Nice little chase move there. I don't know if she got it all. It was a little thin, but watch this. That's probably going to go right off the green. That's what we were talking about. You weren't supposed to show us, Christy.
Just a perfect example of what you think might be available green surface, but at Donald Ross's places, that is often chopped in half or chopped in thirds, depending on what portion of the green you play it to.
Caddy Donna early there.
I mean, she hit a great shot, Johnny, and then to watch it fall off like that, it's tough.
Well, you just can't go by the hole, and so, you know, you have to say, I made a mistake.
15.
Birdie putt for Pak. Turns a little left.
I would have made it a little more interesting, Gary, with the two-shot swing.
Up ahead at 16, par putt for Yuri Fudo.
Big putt for her. I think she's trying to get it into the barn, and I think she's, I hate to say a person is sort of gagging, but right now I've noticed the last few holes she's just looking at the leaderboard. Oh, if I could just finish there, I'll be so happy.
Well, that's 3 bogeys in our last 4 holes, John, as we move back to the 15th green and the par putt for Kari Webb. Roger?
Yeah, this putt should move just a little bit to her right. About 6 feet.
Well, 4-shot lead.
With 3 very difficult holes to play. So Webb, after the fairly poor tee shot, makes bogey at 15, drops back to 5 under par. And as they take the short walk to the 16th.
Well, we've already alluded to it today, and next Sunday at 2 Eastern time on NBC, we've got a preview of golf's greatest championship, the 101st U.S. Open, and then it's 4 days of coverage beginning Thursday, June 14th, as Tiger Woods headlines that star-studded field in search of his 5th straight major. Julie Inkster second on the way at the difficult 17th.
That was a 7 wood, trying to cut it a little, and obviously a left-to-left shot. Not quite what she had imagined.
She's setting up for that birdie like yesterday.
Yeah, that's it. A little dramatic chip
That's
in.
right. Yesterday she hit over by the gallery stands right and holed it out.
Left her flat on her back.
Maybe she'll do it again.
She has far too much green to work with. It won't be that much of a tough shot.
Seen a lot of that from Julie. The visor off, kind of rubbing her head, thinking, wow, this is tough. Wasn't tough yesterday when she arrived at 17 in that long shot and then did this for the unlikely 3. Boom, there she went. Down goes Inkster.
And that was the end, a tough run. She had a double bogey and another bogey, and so she was reeling there, so that righted her.
On a hole which has produced more doubles than birdies this week.
And here at 16 tee, Sairi Pak be playing first, and Roger, a great opportunity here to put a little pressure on. We see the club selection. 5-iron has been the club of choice.
This is a sick, Gary.
And if she could somehow put this close.
Is that enough club, guys?
Well, Going to have to really be nailed because the hole is playing back into the wind.
Well, this is solid, just turning left.
Wow. Well, and lands very firmly. There is a high spot right there, though. It should come back.
It's a big 6-iron.
It was. She's a little perplexed about how firmly the ball landed.
Well, she has a flatter trajectory than does Carrie Webb. Her ball comes in pretty hard, and I've seen quite a few of her shots really skip a good bit before they do much.
Like number 2, huh?
Yes. Now this is a 5-iron for Carrie Webb. This hit much, much higher. Turning left at the flagstick.
Oh, yes. What a shot from Webb. Within 8 or 9 feet of the hole. And again, she comes back after making a mistake. We go to 18.
And the third shot coming back up the slope for Kerr after she thought she hit a fine second shot. She did. She just got.
She went with the sand wedge. What a shot. Oh, that was amazing. That thing broke left to mid.
And down goes Kerr. Donald Ross will do that. Maybe she might roll all the way down. Nope, she's up. I thought she might find the bottom of the slope there. It would be fitting at 18. What a shot by Kerr coming back up. She's going to save her par at 18, turn in a final round of 70. She's now tied for 5th. 18 has been somewhat of an electrical spot. Dottie Pepper. This was a little earlier for a rare birdie for Dottie.
Welcome back to the 56th United States Women's Open Championship at the Pine Needles Lodge and Golf Club. 16. Sayre Pak with Roger, a very lengthy putt for birdie.
About a 35-footer, and this should be influenced by coming out of the bunker on the left-hand side, so it should move a little bit to her left. And of course, Carrie Webb has a very make birdie putt.
There'll probably be a little bit of double break to it, Roger. It should move left at the start, and I think as it gets near the hole, it will try to work its way back a little bit to the right. There's the left. Or will it come back right? It's trying. Those are two pretty good putts she's hit in the last 2 holes now. If perhaps she had been this aggressive earlier in the round, Roger, she might have had a little more success.
Well, I would think at the end of the day, should she not win, I would think she would look at that as maybe one of the reasons why.
They head to 18.
Well, we'll see if there's some more fireworks left here at 18 as Kelly Keeney gets ready for her second. Keeney +1 on her round today, +4 for the championship. Steady USGA type of round, 16 pars today to go along with 1 bogey.
Looked like a 7-iron, maybe 8, and she came over it, which puts a little more power into it, and that's a tough downhill lie. You can see the ball trickle back down the hill, so that's going to be a very awkward shot.
And over at 17, Inkster for her par. So a little different story for Inkster today at 17. It's going to be bogey there. 16.
Carrie Webb for birdie. That rather commercial. Safely in for a 3. Remains at 5 under. 1 over par in her final round. Down from above at the at the 16th. And Johnny, there's a good example. I mean, these greens look large, but they don't play that way.
Yeah, like you said, the edges are not really part of the green. They're cut like a green, but the ball won't stay there.
So now Pak with another difficult putt for par and up ahead at 17. Julie Inkster actually missed the short putt for bogey. A double bogey 6.
Gary, if she hits a straight inch, will she miss it left? Just barely?
Should turn just a little bit to the left, John.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Right edge putt.
I think that's the line. Well, when this championship is over, she will certainly look to her putting as something that cost her any chance of winning. So she moves back to even par, and we move to 17.
And Katrina Matthew, +3 in a round today. Second shot to 17.
In case you just tuned in, this 17th hole, par 4, 429 yards, one of the longest par 4s at near sea level ever in any USGA Women's Open, and so it's about a 4.5 type of hole. You can see the greens firming up like we talked about, and that leaves an awkward long pitch
Back
shot
to the tee, Johnny. The shot shape here.
Yeah, a draw is definitely the way to go. This hole, as you can see from that graphic on the right, really dog legs left big time. Green is way around the corner, so the perfect shot is about right there. Then the green is over here.
Webb has picked up a couple of bogeys and a par at 17 this week.
She likes to hit a draw just slightly when she hits it well.
No worries here.
No worries, mate.
Exactly.
Roger falling into that Aussie rhythm.
If I could hit it like that, I'll go for it.
Well, there was a little bit of drama really going into 16 until Sari Pak 3-putted. That, right now I'd say it's going to take a miracle finish. You'd have to go birdie. Got a 5-shot lead, Kari does, and of course Gary would have to go double bogey. You've probably done that, Raj. No, I'm just kidding.
I have indeed.
Easy. We all have. Look at that beautiful fall through. But usually when you have a fall through that big, well, it's a good shot. I don't know what she didn't like about it.
It was missed yet, John. She didn't get it as solid as she wanted.
It's still fine.
So Sari out there in good shape, but trailing by 5, and you see Dottie Pepper there all alone in 3rd place, one of the more emotional players and always entertaining players to watch, and she was certainly on display earlier in her round here today at Pine Needles.
4-iron, 215.
Dot. Oh, what a bounce that was. Sit down. Sit. Sit.
Dottie loving that shot at her approach into 18. Set up this birdie attempt. .69 for Dottie Pepper. She continues her good run in this championship, and right now she's with Hannah Storm. Hannah?
Oh, Dottie, what a great way to end the championship. Dottie enjoyed that little sequence there. A lot of players say they have to play really calm, but for you it seems to be the opposite.
I struggle if I'm too still water out there.
And you and Worth are a great pair together.
It's been a great year. We've had a good time out there. Our personalities they blend real well, and he's as intense about his job as I am mine. So it's been really nice to have him out there this year.
Well, last year at the Open, very frustrating for you. You had to withdraw because of a bad back. So this must be really gratifying.
It is. It's been 10 months of really hard work, but it's starting to come full circle, and it won't be long before everything really gels and something big happens, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're ripe for a win. You've had just a slew of
We've
top
done
10s
everything
this
but
season.
that. Yes.
Second on the money list. You know, you went through a string of 5 years there where you were a top 6 finisher in the Women's Open, and now you're back up there on the leaderboard again. What has that been? Just your health or
mostly
something
health.
else?
You know, I don't think I swung at it very good for 2 or 3 years in the middle there, and an Open lays out all of your weaknesses, and it was not very good. And I think my ball striking has come a long way in the last 4 or 5 months, and I'm not ready to say I've got it, but it's getting pretty close. And it's been fun to practice, fun to go out and try to do different things on the golf course because I know I can do it now. And it's a lot more fun when there's more ammo in the gun.
We've been talking about the fact that it looks like an international player is going to be winning the Open for the 5th time in 6 years, and you're the top American player this year. What are your thoughts on that?
We need to play better. It's just as simple as that. I mean, the other factor is that this is the strongest tour there is. And if you have any amount of talent at all to prove yourself and to play against the best, you have to come here and play. And that's where everybody is that really can play. And bottom line, the Americans just need to play better, and myself included.
And no surprise to see Karrie Webb here this week. There's been a lot of talk that she, had not won in the USA this year, but...
Just talk.
Yeah.
Just talk. Obviously, she's played well and played well overseas, and you can't dismiss all of that. And she's done what she needed to do this week. You put the ball in the fairway, put the ball in the greens, and I would be surprised if she wasn't leading both of those categories. So she's done what you need to do to win an Open.
All right, let's go back out to golf. To 18 now.
Thank you, Hannah. Dottie Pepper currently in 3rd place, and that would equal her best finish in this championship. She tied for 3rd in 88 and 90, and you can see Dottie's got a lot of confidence. Maybe something big's going to happen later this summer with her.
Julie Inkster's missed the 2 shortest putts, I would bet, of her professional career today. She must be just reeling.
She is visibly very dejected, Johnny. I can't believe that she did that, nor can she.
That's going to do what I was talking about. That's just what you don't want to do. I mean, it should be the first thought in mind is I'm not going long. Everything else is sort of secondary.
Earlier on this 18th hole, this was Kelly Keeney's par attempt. Nice way to finish. What a back 9 she had. All pars. So all pars and a single bogey for Kelly Keeney. 71 for Keeney, and that was followed by this par for A.J. Eathorn, who played in the final group in the 3rd round yesterday. Had the 67 in the opening round, a share of the lead. Dropped off a little bit, but a solid championship for A.J. Eathorn out of Canada, just 24 years old. Over at 17 from Scotland, Katrina Matthews. We continue this international parade.
Well, Katrina has about 25 feet here for par, Dan, after a very mediocre chip shot from the left side of the green. And she'd be very disappointed with that effort.
Matthew with the tap in there. And we remind you that the trip to the this is the U.S. Open preview show next Sunday, 2 o'clock Eastern Time on NBC. And, of course, is followed by our beginning coverage of the championship on Thursday, June 14th. U.S. Open Championship, less than 2 weeks away. Can't wait for the trip to Southern Hills, Johnny. It makes it even that much more fun when Tiger Woods goes for 5 straight major championships. 17, the leader, Karrie Webb, 2nd.
191 yards left to the hole. 181 front.
See that flag stick on the right side. Looks like you can't even get there, but you can.
Yeah, it's a 5-iron, Johnny.
Oh man, that's nice. Just what you want to do, Roger.
Cruise control.
Yep. Unless you can hit a high cut, you're just not going to go for this flag stick with any success.
Only 1 birdie made at the 17th all day.
That's the hardest hole on the golf course. The bottom line, it's even tougher today. This bunker that you see on the right, folks, is not really that much in play. It's about 20 yards short of the green. So even though the flag stick's way over here on the right, it looks like you can't get to it, but you can if you can hit the ball straight or preferably a high fade, which is not necessarily her shot. She likes to hit a high draw, sort of a going more of a going draw. How's this look? Is this going right?
Yeah, this is going right. This isn't good here. This headed for the gallery, it looks like.
That's going to be really a tough spot if it gets out of the pine straw, but it doesn't.
Been a struggle for Pak. Only 4 pars in the last 13 holes, 4 birdies, 5 bogeys, a mixed bag. That won't get it done when Kari Webb is in cruise control. 5 shots ahead of Sairi Pak. Began the day 5 shots ahead. And Kari Webb is headed to her 2nd straight Open Championship. Still with some work left. Gorgeous shot high above Pine Needles. Kari Webb in command with just 2 holes left. And safely on the green at 17 while the struggles continue for Sairi Pak. Going to play this 3rd out of the Pine Needles.
Looks like a pretty clean lie, though, Roger.
Well, it is, John. It's an area where there is not pine needles, but it is on the sandy soil. They call these the sand hills of North Carolina, and that is what she's sitting on. It's a very clean lie. But she's going to have to play something low and try to skip it onto this green.
Looks like she's going to hit just on the start of the upslope. 1 bump it up onto the green, 1 hop, bite, and trickle, huh? I think.
In a perfect world, I think she'd like that very much.
Well, what we're talking about, you can see this little slope right there, and it'll hop 1 hop, then trickle. So, see if that's what she does. Because she can spin it pretty good off this lie, I would think, huh, Roger?
Absolutely. If she catches a solid, she can get a lot of spin on it.
See how she's playing that right opposite her right foot? That's what you want to do on most of your pitch shots, unless you need to hit them high. And you get the ball first. Well, that's what I thought, but might have been just a foot too easy. Good shot, though, Rod.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it took up a little quicker than I think she would have liked it to, but it was a well-played shot.
Yeah, she played the classic shot, just what you were supposed to.
Well, we talked about how golf is booming in this world, and we'll get back to Sairi Pak in just a moment. But Julie Inkster now eyeing a bogey putt, trying to avoid a back-to-back double bogey finish.
And it really stemmed from the 6-iron that she hit in. It was way too much club. Scalded over the green into the bunker. Now this 18-footer for a bogey 5. And this finish will more or less take her out of the top 10, I think.
+2 as she came to the 17th hole, Kay, and 2 double bogeys later, 75 +6. So Inkster tumbles from the leaderboard, the champion a couple of years ago at 16 under par at Old Waverly as we head back to 17. And Kari Webb.
Now this from about dead hole high across the green, some 40 feet, but there's just not much break in this putt. This is a pretty flat green.
Yeah, this is like the flattest green on the golf course. It almost, in spots, it actually breaks slightly to the back if you're putting from this angle, but I think where she is, it's pretty level. Where Sairi Pak standing, that same putt would actually break towards the back of the green. Easy 2-putt, though, from there.
A lot of speed on this one.
Oh! But when you hit the hole, it hides.
Well, that's not why she's winning, but it doesn't hurt, huh, Roger?
Kari Webb has made a batch of birdies this week. She's had a chip in included early in this championship, but along with that chip in, that was the most unlikely of birdies with the way that was traveling. That was humming as it found the bottom of the cup.
On the hardest hole on the golf course.
Where would this have ended up, Johnny, had it not found the back of the cup?
It looks like about 6 feet by, 5-6 feet by, huh, Roger? Yep, that's about it.
And now moving it to 6 under par with 1 hole left. Well, we talked about how golf has been booming around the world. Sairi Pak, born and raised in South Korea, and a horde of media follows her around. Millions in Korea, in fact, watched on television in the middle of the night when Sairi Pak won this championship back in '98, and that really led to somewhat of an invasion of Korean players on tour. There's a total of 12 or so on the LPGA Tour, included as Mi-Hyun Kim, the Rookie of the Year back in '99, and every LPGA tournament, in fact, is televised in South Korea. And in fact, it's more popular, the women golfers over there, than the men.
Yes.
And
yes.
Sayre's had a lot to do with that. Boy, that is close.
It's hard to believe that didn't topple in, Roger, but she's done that about 4 times on short putts.
Well, let's go down to Jimmy Roberts.
Well, Dan, unless there's some type of Van de Veldian turn of events, it looks like Karrie Webb is going to successfully defend her U.S. Open championship. And no doubt as she walks down the 18th hole, there will be some emotional moments. There were some emotional moments last year in Gurnee at the Merit Club. Interestingly enough, perhaps the most emotional moment came out of plain sight. It was after our telecast was off the air at the USGA's official trophy presentation on the 18th green. Now, Karrie Webb is normally known as a person, at least outwardly, who seems emotionless and impassive. She certainly wasn't on that day.
I don't know if this is going back to Australia, but I'd like to thank all my family and friends for all their support, and I'd like to thank my coach for everything.
And her coach, the man that she's speaking of, Kelvin Haller, man who's worked with Karrie Webb since she's 8 years old, the only coach she's ever had. He's a quadriplegic, injured in an accident, and he's unable to travel, and yet they keep in touch via the internet. They send videos back and forth, and Karrie Webb was certainly thinking of Haller that day, and no doubt she's thinking of him this day as well.
Okay, Jimmy, and just moments away from back-to-back Women's Open championships. And the par 4 18th, Johnny, that's the draw you need.
Yeah, the draw will give you another 20 yards. If you cut the ball into that right to left slope, there's a lot of slope going right to left. It just won't roll, but a draw will just go chucking on down there if you can hit a going draw.
Yeah, this is shaped perfectly going down the left center of the fairway.
Boy, she just made this course look pretty darn easy, Roger.
Brilliant driving exhibition.
Earlier on this 18th, second shot for Matthew.
You can see that hook lie with the slice pin placement. That's a tough combination when you need to cut it off that lie. And that was perfect. Ooh, that's the best shot of the day right there. That is it. So you've got to be pumped there.
That should bring her back to +3, and back to the tee is Sayre Pak. She's had a fine year this season, third on the money list, 2 wins, but just didn't have the firepower, especially on the greens today, to catch Webb.
And I'm sure Dottie Pepper's looking on with interest, being +2, Pak +1. She's probably thinking,
maybe I can sneak in there.
That's going
Shot
left.
turned too much left.
Oh man, that's not a good break. I mean, it could have been worse. Could have kicked left in the trees, but she lost a ton of distance there. I hope it didn't hurt anybody. That was hit hard into somebody.
Karrie Webb walks up the 18th fairway on her way to some rarefied air in this sport. Back-to-back U.S. Women's Open titles at 6 under par. And the unlikely birdie at the 17th has her smiling all the way to 18. This a moment ago to leap into a tie for 4th for Katrina Matthew. Birdie at 18. +3 for the championship, now tied with Christy Kerr and Sherry Turner for a share of 4th. Good championship for the 31-year-old Edinburgh native of Scotland.
Sayre Pak must be way back there, Roger, after hitting somebody and just bouncing backwards.
She has got a spectator in the leg, and really was kind of fortunate. It was going to head out into the weeds if that hadn't happened, but it has 198 yards left to the hole.
And we're looking at the man that paid the price, Raj. That's a little bit of a welt. That'll only sting for a little while.
That's a good thing it didn't hit about an inch over right on the shin bone. Just got where there's a little bit of meat to cushion it.
So Pak out of the rough.
Not too bad a lie, really. I think can hit a tumbler here, and of course the ball can run all kinds of yardage here. It's just a matter of where you want to land it and how much it's going to roll.
Just a matter of keeping it short a little, Roger.
That's right.
Forget this long hole location on the right side over here. It's a goer, huh?
Oh, this is a goer. This is flat and going. Depends what kind of hop it gets. Hit soft.
Let's see. It's going to be good, Raj. It's a good shot.
A reminder Game 7 NBA Finals tonight. Do or die for the Sixers and the Bucks. Ray Allen and Milwaukee. Allen Iverson and Philadelphia tonight, 7 Eastern time on NBC. And it must be nice to walk up the 18th fairway and know you have the Open Championship in your pocket. Kari Webb felt that way last year when she won her first, and she's going to have it again with this big lead.
She's planning on choking up on it a lot, Roger. He's got the ball above her feet. What club?
147 yards, John, and this an 8-iron. I'm just going to try to put it in the center of the green. I would think if it gets back to the hole, it's just because she's pumped up.
Ball's about 3 inches above her feet. Solid strike.
Boy, this looks good. Just left of the hole. Center of the green. Nicely done.
Couldn't hand place it any better.
Well, the walk-up 18 for Kari Webb. She was 11 years old. Her grandparents, as a birthday present, bought her a ticket to a tournament which was near her native air in Queensland, Australia, because a guy by the name of Greg Norman was playing, and that was what really got her hooked on the sport. She went out and watched the great white shark, got hooked on it, and later on in her golf career, when she was 17 years old, Norman invited her to stay with her at his home and talked a lot about what it's like to be a professional in the game. And Kari Webb probably didn't know it at that time when she was just 11 years old, but Greg Norman did get elected into the Hall of Fame, but Kari Webb would beat him to the Hall of Fame as she was the youngest player ever to earn her way in last year with a championship win.
That's a great moment when you got a big lead, 5-shot lead, 6-shot, well, actually 7-shot lead. It's just you can really enjoy it. You don't have to think about anything, huh, Roger?
Yeah, this doesn't get any better than this for a golfer, John.
You talk about a major championship run. With this win, Webb will have won 4 of the last 7 LPGA major championships. And she is joining this illustrious list. The last time it happened, right back here in Pine Needles in '96. Betsy King before that, Hollis Stacy, and a pretty good group of women players through the years in this sport.
Well, it's a nice scene here, Roger. What's happening down there?
Well, a great reception, of course, for Kari Webb. Now, Sairi Pak with, oh gosh, this has got to be good 80, 85 feet across the screen. I think it'll move to her right. Not an easy 2-putt. Needs the 2-putt to finish second all alone.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's some something at stake here.
Yeah, an increased purse.
At 310 to 198 is a nice little, difference there. 112,000 and change difference or something.
Nearly $3 million purse. Largest purse in LPGA history. This championship.
Screen just has a little bit of break, I think, from right to left up there, Roger. Isn't that what it looks like?
Well, I'm seeing it going to the right when it gets by the hole, John.
Good. I haven't seen a putt from this angle yet today. Almost no balls have been on the front left. This is a new spot.
Sairi Pak looking for her best finish in a major since her Open victory 3 years ago. Of course, that was the same year she put 2 major championships in her bag as a rookie. The LPGA Rookie of the Year back in '98.
I think she looked at the leaderboard, Roger.
She knows how the scoreboard stands.
Yeah, she wouldn't be taking this much time if there was a 2 or 3 stroke spread between her and third place.
Still indecisive here.
And that's all it is indecision. Nobody's moved. There's been no noise in the crowd.
hit it, Roger?
Took a couple of hops coming off the fringe, Johnny, and that took some steam off it. She's got a good 8-9 feet left.
To try and stay in second place all alone, Pac's going to need that long par putt.
You could see from that close-up, nice close-up shot of her hands how she's hooding the club face near the top of her backswing, and then of course every action causes a reaction. So coming through, she can't stay neutral. She has to re-cup it back open to make up for that. So,
yeah, we talked about Kari Webb's play in the last 7 majors and how she has dominated.
How about that?
This will be victory number 4 in the last 7. And look at the ones that she didn't win. Second, top 10, Du Maurier last year. That is some fine play in the major championships.
Well, she has a perfect game for majors. She drives the ball long and straight, and like we said earlier, she gets all her distance in the air. Her iron shots are higher than anybody else in the field, and they come down softer, so that no matter where the hole location is, she can get to a lot more hole locations than everyone else, and that's a big advantage.
It's also going to be her first victory in the United States this year, but she did win abroad a couple of times, so did have some confidence coming into this Open.
Look at this.
And how about a birdie finish?
Birdie. How about birdie in 17 and 18? Is that any good to finish it off with a 69?
Another back-to-back champion at Pine Needles, and in 2001 it is Kari Webb.
Tremendous rounds there. You can see 70, 65, 69, 69, and with an unlikely birdie finish. Look at her now. It's a great feeling.
That traveling birdie at 17, and then that one beautifully stroked. 7 under par. And now Pac with a big par putt here to try and stay alone in second place.
Well, the first part of that putt by Suri Pac, Roger did break left about 8 inches, but now it's coming up near the hole where there isn't a lot of break from there. Might be almost trying to break to the left. Again, the back of this, from where the shadows are, the green starts falling towards the back, so might be a right center putt. Straight in or right center.
Pac runs it in.
Well, nice putt there. Good rounds there, 69, 70, 70, and 72.
And finishes all alone in second. But the championship for the second straight year belongs to Kari Webb. Hall of Famer at age 26 says she feels a little uncomfortable in that role. Peggy Kirkbell giving her a hug of congratulations. 69 for Webb. What a way to finish it off. Birdies at 17 and 18. 2 tough holes. Only player under par. 7 under. And an 8-shot win in the 56 U.S. Women's Open. Won by 5 last year, by 8 this year. And this is what provided the final margin. Birdie at 18. And we'll be back for the presentation and a word from the champion for the second straight year in the U.S. Women's Open. Kari Webb adds another major to her resume, the biggest championship of all. Kari Webb going over the scoring card, making sure that everything is in order for her 69, 7 under par. And the last time anyone won the Women's Open by a margin greater than this, you have to go all the way back to 1980 when Amy Alcott defeated Hollis Stacy by 9. So this ties the 5th largest margin of victory ever in this championship. Kari Webb's 8-shot win over Sari Pac. This was a quite a statement, Johnny, and especially after last year's win by 5. She's taken a hold of this championship.
She just couldn't have played any better, really. just teed a green. She only missed a few fairways, very reminiscent of Annika Sorenstam, who won here in '96, who only missed 4 fairways. I think Kari was more like maybe missing 6 fairways or something, 7 fairways. So it was really great driving of the ball. Irons, lead and greens hit also, and the putting was very good. At the end, it was magnificent, but Kari should be pumped. I mean, she made a statement. You're right. Annika, of course, Sorenstam was supposed to be the big rival and favorite, and had a disappointing open, but Sari Pak hung in there for a long time, and Dottie had the good finish.
This week at Pine Needles has belonged to Kari Webb. Shot the even par round of 70 in round 1, but came back with that flawless 5 birdie, no bogey performance with a 65 on Friday.
Yeah, it's a good moment for her. Great moment for her.
She's about ready to hoist that coveted championship trophy for the 2nd straight year.
Gentlemen, the 2001 United States Women's Open champion, Kari Webb.
Kari, congratulations. Just a spectacular week to watch all week long. You won last year. You won this year. Is there any way at this point to put in perspective what a repeat means to you?
Not really, Jimmy. Just coming in here, I felt pretty good about things, but, at the U.S. Open, you never know what's going to happen. And to have a comfortable walking up 18 again is just a dream come true. And it's always special I found out last year to win a U.S. Open. It's even more special to repeat and to win at Peggy Kirk Bell's course as well. It's great.
Well, one of the things that you told us last year after we had gone off the air was how grateful you were for the help of your coach, and you didn't know whether or not he was watching because you weren't sure if it was on the air. We now are on the air, and if you'd like to say anything to him, I'm sure he's watching and listening.
Oh, thanks. Well, Cal, a lot of hard work this year, but, things came together at the right time. That's great. And thanks a lot. I love you. And to Mom and Dad and to all my family, I love you too. I know you're watching.
Kari Webb, U.S. Open champion once again. Congratulations.
Kari Webb, the winner, and it was somewhat of a Tiger-esque performance, and we just informed a moment ago that Mr. Woods has a 7-shot lead late in the Memorial being played at Dublin, Ohio, and that'll be Tiger's final performance before he goes into the U.S. Open. So a great performance by Kari Webb, just a dominating week, and maybe we'll get another week like that at Southern Hills coming up in short order here.
Tiger Woods, amazing. I don't know what he's shooting today, but I don't know if everybody decided to go home or what. I don't know how he got that big a lead, but this performance by Kari Webb really makes a statement to the whole field, and maybe especially to Annika Sorenstam. Annika could have done it, but she just wasn't on her game. But Kari was fantastic.
So much attention on Annika Sorenstam and the young teen Morgan Pressel coming in. Kari Webb just kind of quietly walked her way into Pine Needles and walked away with a championship trophy for the 2nd straight year. Last year at the Merit Club, this year at Pine Needles. And don't forget that U.S. Open Championship tees off on Thursday, June 14th. Tiger Woods' game looks like it's in pretty good shape. Coming up tonight on NBC, it's the 7th and deciding game between the Bucks and the Sixers in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, for Johnny Miller, Gary Koch, Roger Maltby, Jimmy Roberts, Kay Cockrell, Jane Crafter, and Hannah Storm, this is Dan Hicks saying so long from the 56th U.S. Women's Open Championship. Back-to-back titles for the Aussie Aussie.